Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Hey, listener. This is Denise, and you're listening to Voice from the Underground, proud members of the Tangent Vow Network and the famous original podcast network. Welcome to the Underground. My favorite podcast.
Alright, look at that. YouTube notification, Voice in the Underground, this went live.
Nice.
Proof on the subscribe.
Oh, God. He's showing out. Showing out for company.
So they got them great jogging pants on.
I gotta get this
Got
freaking
those
color. Got the
sweatpants,
great
great
sweat.
sweat.
The
Bet you
champion.
he ain't got on no drawers.
The
dude.
great champion joints. Everybody's scared of the great champion. You know what that's legendary territory.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Voice from the Underground, the podcast where politics and pop culture collide. My fucking producer is already ripping on me, and we're 5 seconds into the stream.
Because the camera is up here.
Hi, everybody.
There you go.
See, he just loves to fuck shit up. So we'll start over. The podcast where politics and pop culture collide. Go bang. Okay, so we are live at the Torch Cigar and Hookah Bar.
Cigar and Hookah Lounge.
Yesterday.
Yes.
We're not currently there.
No.
We used to be there yesterday. We left.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts.
We already drove home.
The revolutionary is that's why we have the guns in the car, so we're good to go.
2 out of 6 guys.
We are live with Voice from the Underground. We're going to do a little bit of debate coverage today. It is me, Jason Dutch, back with my co-host with the most on the other camera. He's actually sitting right next to me, but it looks on the camera like we're not close to each other.
That man's
He just patted my head.
I love how I reach this way, but the hand comes in from that way. See? Isn't that amazing?
We all played Mario.
So, Big Hussein, what's happening, Big Hussein?
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome in, Dutch, to our fair state.
Our fair
So
state.
glad to have you back.
Visitor.
I got my Portillos in.
Yes.
I got my Malou Malnati's in. I got my Euros.
You gotta get some Italian Fiesta.
My White Castle.
Did you get a beef yet?
I just had one a minute ago.
You got that from Portillo's?
I got the
Or a hot
Portillo.
dog?
But it's not as good as it was before. No, fuck a hot dog from Portillo's.
See?
They're all right,
There you
but
go.
there's better places to get a hot dog from that are little hot dogs like Gene and Jude's and stuff like that.
Did
But,
you get a Chicago-style hot dog?
not yet. That one is still on the list to get. So I am in Chicago. We are here for a special occasion. So any minute now, they're going to start the presidential debate, the final debate. But before we get to that, we will be going to that backwards and forwards a little bit. This isn't going to be exactly on with the debate. We'll follow along with that as we go. But we are here to let you guys know one thing. This is basically our 3-year anniversary of being on Voice from the Underground.
It's my anniversary.
Right.
Anniversary.
So happy 3-year anniversary. I did not bring flowers, Big Hussein.
Congratulations.
You brought
on
the
that.
sweat.
But we will be making
Put the present in your
sweet
pants.
sweet love later. Yeah.
Got a Corona for you.
So with us today is our producer extraordinaire, Mickey Antifa,
What up, what up?
the guy who's afraid of the Trump supporters in the area.
4 houses down.
And
At the corner with the
6
garage door
houses
open. Whole inside of the garage is painted Trump.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
I was like, oh, okay.
well, maybe they should be afraid of us.
I ain't got to be afraid of me.
So also, just so you know, there is
there
a
go
train right there.
There
So
go to Trump train.
you know what? But the train, we can't do
Right on
anything-
cue.
Through town.
we can't do anything about the train because train's going to come by a couple times in the show. So what we'll do is just, it is what it is. But it's going to hit its horn
Damn, she got a big
in a
ring
fucking
on.
second. because it's right by an intersection. So it is what it is.
I'll run window duty
he'll
when,
run.
when I notice.
Welcome to the show, the guy talking over there. Our boy, Brian from the Brian from the Herfcast podcast. Welcome into Chicago from Indiana, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
No, we're happy to have you back. So here's the Trump train coming by. It seems like this one's stopped.
It's taking illegal immigrants to Mar-a-Lago to work on landscaping.
Chaz says you guys having a sleepover tonight.
Yes.
All right, Chaz.
You're invited, Chaz.
All right, Chaz.
It's communal sleeping as well.
Yes.
It's a communal sleeping
It
arrangement.
gets colder at night.
I'm
Everybody
glad-
knows that.
I'm glad I'm wearing my new pair of MeUndies. Nice pretty print.
Well, first of all,
That's right,
thanks
you knew what was going
to
down.
MeUndies for sponsoring this episode.
thank you to Chaz. Actually, he had me on the other day for Jock Talk a couple days ago, talking a little bit of sports with him and Tony. So that was fun. Also, if you did not see it, Haas's episode at the Delvin Cox Experience is live. And then what's going on with the bin?
I literally just got done with the bin after show, wrapped up everything and ran over here. So we just did our
That's
show.
why it took so long, because he was running.
I didn't have no car.
Kristen Welker, by the way, I like her. She's
got a big ring on. And notice the earrings. No less than $10,000 on her ears right now.
Oh, here comes President Trump walking out and Biden with his mask on.
Thanks, Biden.
The biggest mask we've ever seen.
Biden on purpose takes the mask off on his way out, just so we know.
Just so you know he had it on.
Yeah.
Why does Trump remind me the way he stands of Jerry's muscular cousin on Tom and Jerry that came to visit? That's how he's standing. Now listen,
the same as the
I
bulldog,
catch you.
too.
Yeah.
He's leaned all
Big
forward.
chest and a big
Yeah.
ass.
It's like he does no back exercises at all. He's just all cowed over like this.
You think he's wearing a corset?
He might have a corset on up under there.
So they're
Little plug
talking.
action.
They're talking about here that they'll have the microphone on only when it's your time to answer. I cannot wait for people to complain about this on one side or the other. But before we get into the debate, we're going to move away from it for a second. I know you guys are probably watching it at home. We do have it up, so we can flip to it here and again. But Brian, what?
And if you're not watching it, there's the link.
Yeah, there's the link to the debate. So, Brian, we're going to play our real quick game here with you of 4-down territory. So, 22, set.
That is nowhere near a cadence. But that's okay.
All right, false start. Okay, go fuck yourself.
Everybody's
First
on the line.
question for Brian.
The ref just went.
First question for Brian. So you have to take control here. Okay. I'm like Trump. Look at he's already talking like this.
He's holding in a fart right now.
First question for Brian. The Cubs. Your favorite Cub memory outside of the World Series victory?
Outside of the World Series victory, I got me, my dad, and my older brother and my son went to a game not last year, the year before. And it was my kid's first Cubs game. Plus, it was, the only one missing was my little brother. He's down in Springfield, Missouri. But taking into that game, I got a picture of him wearing a shirt kind of like this, but he's got a box of Cracker Jacks. He's got a bag of peanuts.
Oh, my God.
So it was just
peanuts and
perfect.
Cracker Jacks.
Yeah. He was ready to go. And he was happy.
He nailed the whole first baseball.
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Everything but a foul ball.
All right, so there's the how's you got a question for him?
Of course.
I know you do.
Now,
What am I smoking?
fuck off.
No, we'll get to the cigars. We're at a cigar lounge, so we'll get to that.
I'm peeping the liddage, and I'm reminded of Jennifer Aniston's character in Office Space, because you've got all these pieces of flair on your lid.
Got flair, don't care.
And I would
down hair.
I
We'd
would
like to
love
see
to
you
know-
have a few more pieces.
of flair. I mean,
Yeah.
15 is the minimum, and that's
Yeah.
okay if that's what you want to. But we encourage you to express yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to know what your two favorite pieces of flair are on your hat right now, and why.
Let's see. One of them would be the disc golf basket, because that was something my son gave me. And
How old's your son?
he's 5. He just turned 5
yeah.
on the 16th.
My son just turned 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So
Quite the adventure at home.
Yes.
so yeah, he just turned 5. Got a daughter on the way. November
Congratulations,
30th.
man.
Thanks.
Oh, you in the home stretch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you count. She's counting the days.
Oh yeah.
The
Well,
minutes.
it's like I was just saying before this, like she's got the diabetes, the gestational diabetes.
Oh,
so
wow.
she's in hell right now.
Yeah.
Can't satisfy any of the cravings, food wise. So yeah, the disc golf basket is one because he gave that to me. Just
Where's that at?
disc golf every
Yeah,
day.
it's cool, man.
And then other than that, I've lost a few of them, which sucks, but it kind of rotates. Like
Okay, which one is the one you lost where you're like, crap, I'm really gonna miss that?
That's most of them that I've lost are my St. Baldrick's ones. 'Cause
Okay.
every year I get a St. Baldrick's
Right.
pin.
Because I noticed you have a lovely
How do you
flowing mane
lose
here.
them?
Yeah. Just I didn't have the locking backs on them.
Yeah.
So they would fall off, and I wouldn't know until I took my hat off. And
And the back is
the
on
back-
your head.
yeah, the back
Yeah.
would either be in my hair or fall out, and by that time the pin
You're
was-
miles away by
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But whatever new St. Baldrick's pin that I put on there is, we'll say that's another favorite.
Okay, that's cool.
All right, Mikey.
I don't want to steal Dutch's next question, which I know is something about what superhero do you want to be?
No, go ahead.
But what's of the newer MCU? Which movie? Can't say Endgame, cheater. So, which was your favorite of the new MCU?
No idea. I watch the movies. I don't like get into it like that far. I don't know. I guess one of the obvious answers is Iron Man, the Tony Stark character.
Yeah.
Just the attitude and the just pompousness.
Yeah,
him.
Arrogance is
And,
right on the money.
and then backing it up.
Ain't bragging
So-
if you can do it.
Yeah.
It ain't tricking if you got it this time.
All right, so there we go. So, scale of 1 to 10. How big of a shit do you think Rudy Giuliani took when he saw the Borat video came out yesterday?
I don't know.
You haven't seen that story?
No.
Okay.
I
So-
saw the picture and I
Yeah.
saw like the little blurb, but I did not get any context or background. So you have to regale
All
me.
right, so we'll talk about that as the night goes on. We'll give you a different question then. Best book you've read in the last 2 years?
I don't think I've read anything in the last 2 years.
You haven't read Art of the Deal?
No.
You should read Art of the Deal.
I'm trying to
Scott
think
Pictures.
if I've even listened to an audiobook in the past 2 years or not. Shit. I think the last book that I read, cover to cover, basically in one sitting, all at one go would be This Book is Full of Spiders. Seriously, Dude, Don't Touch It by David Wong.
Is that a
What is that
elementary school book?
No. It's
I read this book in the 4th grade.
it's a
Mrs. Sanchez's class.
It's a sequel to one of my favorite books of all time. John Dies at the End.
Is that Game of Thrones? John
No.
dies at the end,
No.
but he doesn't die.
Spoiler alert. Jesus.
But which that's something that I just finished. I knocked out Game of Thrones in about 3.5 weeks.
wow.
So,
Same.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now
That was
I-
good.
now I
That
get
was
the
good.
references
Will you read
and-
the next one when it comes out?
I might.
Or you're not just over it with Game of Thrones?
No. I mean,
Are you?
You gonna read the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Because I love the show, but everyone else got all pissed off about the end because y'all was watching week by week since the beginning. I got to skip all that, and I got to just blast through a season every 3 or 4 days. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it sucks for y'all. Y'all had to wait weeks for that, years even.
All because you had read the books, you bastard.
Yeah. So just real quick. Before we get into-
Wait. Before you moved on.
Yeah.
I heard that some people were pissed because they kind of took leave from the books in certain
Like
spots.
season 5, like at season 5 or 6, it stopped going with what the books were saying.
So did that piss you off too?
I think
I
that's
didn't
because they
read
got
books.
ahead of the books.
Right, because that's where
Yeah.
the story had ended. It was like
Okay.
season 5.
Right.
And then the production team, whatever, took certain liberties, and they finished off the TV show. I was like, that's not what the fuck what I did, and that's not right. And I'm like, didn't read the books. Looks fucking great from here. From this couch, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, see, I didn't read the books either, so I was like, meh. Looks good to me.
Yeah, I didn't read any of it.
I wasn't particularly enamored with the way it ended, but
No blood, no foul.
you could kind of
It was-
they had checked out like a unhappy wife in a marriage.
To me, it just seemed like they just tried to wrap everything up.
Yeah. Let's
Real
tie
quick.
all of these bows up in
Yeah.
like 3 episodes.
It was a bit rushed.
There was
The
a
last
couple
season
of
was a bit rushed.
There was a couple of episodes though the second episode of the last season where
That
was we're kind of like having the conversation. No, it was more of a conversational episode where like remember they were all sitting around the fireplace as if they're going to die the next day.
Yes.
And that was like one of the best episodes.
That
of Game of
was
Thrones.
cool.
It was just pretty. It was just all like you're getting to know every character.
Yeah.
And then the one guy, the big guy, is like, "That's a woman. I want to take that woman
Yes.
to the barn."
He wanted
Talking about
Brienne of
Brienne,
Tarth.
yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted her so bad.
That's my homie from the Ben podcast. That's Shark Tank.
No, it looks just like
He
him.
looked
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
him with the wild thing.
There's a co-host on his.
But he got killed
Just
by
like that guy.
Vin Diesel in the last Fast and the Furious movie, and I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
he would have kicked Vin Diesel's fucking asshole bad. But all
I love
right,
how they keep showing Vin Diesel picking these huge mammoth dudes up with one hand in these Fast and Furious movies.
the crazy thing is how small he is in the beginning,
Yeah.
in the first episodes, in the first movie. By the way, they've said they're only going to do 2 more of those, and they're going to
only
end it.
2 more?
Yeah. So the question, the last question of the day
Okay.
is why? How many years after they finish the last movie do they reboot it with a new cast? Like the next
Or they
year?
do an animated one.
Yeah.
Well, they already have an animated.
I'm
so,
saying they're
yeah.
gonna do like another animated one, or
That's
this time it's in Sweden, Swedish Drift.
They're driving snowmobiles
Right.
So
driving around the Alps.
on a moose.
So they're talking right now in the debate
Supercharged
about
news.
coronavirus vaccines. Honestly, I'm not really too worried about coronavirus vaccines. So we'll get to the debate in a minute. But one thing I did allude to earlier that I wanted to talk about was yesterday. Rudy Giuliani was talking about how he had tapes to expose of Hunter Biden. He's going to expose him and collusion with China.
China.
And how he's in the pocket of the Chinese, and that Joe Biden is actually this big ringleader. Now, let's not forget that literally about 30% of the Republican Party literally believes that Joe Biden leads a cabal sex ring that drinks the blood of children.
But at the same time, he can't keep a train of thought through a sentence. But he's a big mastermind.
But he just hasn't had any endocrines lately.
Oh, he needs some hypothalamuses of children.
Yeah, isn't that what they call it, endochromium or something like that?
Why you look at me like that? Why you look at me?
It's
People wonder why I don't go
Adrenochrome,
outside.
right? Adrenochrome. Thank you for
People
correcting me.
wonder why I don't go outside. For what?
Need some infant hypothalamuses.
But Borat caught
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen
Yes.
as Borat, had a girl who is a 26-year-old actress playing the part of his 15-year-old daughter, pretend to be a newscaster, a reporter, got Rudy Giuliani up to a hotel room, has a picture, there's a picture online of him, which I tweeted out yesterday, at Dutch Jason, coughed at a different time.
You're not stopping my coughs with all this smoke. You better
Yeah, well,
relax.
there's coronavirus going on. You better cough it.
Nah.
But the
Lounge.
get him I'll get him the VFU mask, by the way, if you want to get your VFU mask, you can do that at T Public. But she got him up to the room. He's laying on the bed, jostling with his shirt. So he says, looks like he's reaching into his pants. It's like the scene is basically like I am to the camera. So he's like lying this way, right? So you see the feet,
Demonetized.
you see the
Pause,
shoes,
guys,
and then
pause.
the head in the back. So the hand is like in this direction, and it's going like this. So then Borat runs in and says, she's only 15. Now, she's not, but the point is that that's what he told her. And Rudy Giuliani, of course, says it's all out of context and a setup. Yeah, right. Okay. So
I totally believe that.
also a big story that Tucker Carlson broke earlier. Apparently, they're saying this is the greatest story of all time, and Biden is running, a ring of collusion with China, and that the media won't cover it at all. So I'm sure that I'll be talking about this tomorrow when I'm on with the GK Podcast Network for a debate with those guys. And again, thank you for inviting me onto that format. So real quick before we start covering the debate a lot here, is now a good time to let you guys do what you do. Did you see that? They totally fucking ignore. It's a good time to talk about your cigars.
He asked us. He asked me.
I'm
Trying
trying
to the debate.
I was trying to get the live stream link so I could share the link.
Oh, okay. I
See
see.
how you see? How
Thank you so much for that,
So
Brian.
if you could
Trigger
help
happy.
me with that, that'd be great.
Sure, no problem.
I actually sent it to your. It's on your Facebook. If you look on Facebook, I've already clicked it. I've tagged you to it. Big Hussein, you guys have some cigars here. We're at. Tell us about what the place we're at, as well as what you got.
All right, so we're at the Torch Cigar and Hookah Lounge here in Lockport, Illinois,
Oh God.
and
Oh wait, hold on. It makes sense though to let them know what is your podcast about, because this will it'll give context to what you're about to say. So you're with the Herfcast, and the Herfcast is exactly what?
Mainly just cigars and conversation. It's not just cigars. I talk to whoever.
yeah, I was on the show. So.
Cigars are a plus. That is part of the conversation. Generally, every once in a while, I get somebody who doesn't smoke cigars, and that's fine. Like my last episode, I had a guy. The first half of the conversation is all about service dogs.
Really?
He's using the 101st Airborne. Cool deployment stories. But it's a lot of the conversation is more about the dog than the cigars, but the second half is more cigar experiences and whatnot. But no, generally it's just long form conversation. I know, like last week, you guys mentioned not a fan of like the 3-hour podcast and whatnot. Like sometimes mine run that long. Sometimes, like most of the time, they're around like 2 hours. But I had a World War II vet on not too long ago.
Oh wow.
Which is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And through random conversation with somebody at a disc golf course, he happened to be in contact with a cigar smoking World War II vet, and like 2 days later,
Perfect fit.
Yeah. So, but it's just conversation. So.
Cool.
Okay, so there you go. There's your key.
All right. So, in keeping with the theme of Brian and I's love for cigars, we're at a cigar lounge actually, and we're in the VIP section of the back room, sitting in very cushy chairs, as we are wont to do when we go to a cigar lounge of any standing. There's some cigar lounges where you basically got lawn chairs, but pretty good lounge here, and we are smoking on for me, it is a mystery cigar.
Welcome to the humidor with Big Haas.
Well, I guess he's playing the music now.
What
Okay.
Haas is puffing and drinking today.
Earliest humidor we've done in a while.
If you try his suggestion
Very much so.
and you die, that is natural selection.
The whole
And
episode's
VFU
kind of the humidor.
podcast is not responsible
Because we just
for
pretty much
you
in a bigger
being
humidor.
weak as in sauce.
It's so weird hearing that at
No.
regular speed.
The one. The
Well, you
only.
play it double
Big
fast.
Haas.
I play 1.3.
Yeah.
1.4.
Oh,
I do too. I do 1.5.
I see.
Big Hussein. All right, I don't know. You don't even know what
I
you have
literally
today.
don't know
So
what I'm smoking right now.
What's the story, Brian? So you brought him a mystery cigar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I since he's the review guy, I wanted honest review. He doesn't know if it's a $2 cigar, a $20 cigar, where it's from,
It's a Trump cigar.
anything about it.
It's not a Trump cigar. It's way better than a Trump cigar. Don't you dare defile this cigar like that. Anyway, so this cigar, I don't know what it is. It is a Salomon Vitola. which means it's kind of pointed at both ends, and at the business end of the cigar here.
Boss.
At the business end of the cigar here, that's where you light it. And now, before we began recording, I was kind of like taking a little sniff of it before I lit it and everything, and I was getting some like dark chocolate or cocoa or coffee type notes. And what else did I say I was smelling in there? Toasted caramel. I got a little bit of toasted caramel from there. A little something woodsy, but I can't tell you which one. That was like on the dry sniff is what I call it, the dry sniff.
Oh, I love the dry sniff.
The cold draw.
The cold draw, but I didn't draw on it, of course. But and upon lighting it, you get a little bit more earth. It's really tasty though. I like it.
Okay. What's your guess? Would you say that it's a Puro, or do you think that or is that not something you can guess?
I think if my palate was more refined, it's not as refined as I would like it. If my palate was more refined, I could say, oh, this is Nicaraguan, or this is Dominican, or this is
from last week.
You know.
Now, first of all, we know that Brian is dumb enough to listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
And he knows my favorite line. So I guarantee you it's from Nicaragua. Okay. So I'll make that guess. But
it seems to be a Maduro wrapper.
That's fine.
perfect timing.
Very well constructed. As you can see, that's a pretty good ash.
That's a nice ash.
That's
a real nice ash.
Usually, but in a lot of cigars or less well crafted cigars, that ash is going to fall off about now, unless you're really tending it and smoking it like this, and holding it up like that.
I think you should smoke the rest of it like that, and just
because
we could do an over under on how long it's going to
Here comes the Trump train. Hold on.
I'm really worried about this because I have on.
Don't talk over the Trump train.
Okay.
Let's all listen to the
let's
Trump
all
train.
give reverence to Trump.
Here he comes, Donald Trump.
Donald.
Oh, Maria.
He's got on an orange. Look, that tie looks orange today too. But anyway,
Joe Biden looks like his eyes are bigger.
He's on that Adderall.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have on.
Bye, Trump train.
I have on a special shirt today, and it's a white shirt. And if you guys know me, anytime I put on anything light, I usually get something on it. So I've been really anal pause about not getting something on this shirt.
Is that too short?
It is too short.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was wondering how long it was going to take. Now, my homie, he recognized it right away.
Absolutely. That you have mace on your shirt.
M-A-$E. No, but I got on
Swimming in women with their own condominiums, 5+5.
They dropped
that was puff.
But
that was Mace's.
I got on the special Albert Ray collection, too short shirt, and the Albert Ray collection in racism hat because I love the way people at Walmart look at me when I have on this hat. But
Stop going to Walmart.
Back to the cigar. It's a phenomenally made cigar. The construction is really good. I'm really hoping it's a $2 cigar because then I could buy a bunch of them. My wife won't be pissed. But I believe this is a Maduro wrapper. It's burning very well. I've been talking a while, not really puffing too much, and I'm not having to tend to it. I didn't have to tap the ash and relight it or anything like that. So
you
that's
tap
good.
that ash?
Yeah, I didn't have to tap that ash.
And are you pairing it with anything here?
I'm pairing it with
because we can't drink alcohol here.
We cannot drink alcohol here, but we have many great options that actually pair well with cigars. And I'm in my time here, I've been learning a lot about alternative beverages to pair with cigars. You know, like I am not a Dr. Pepper drinker, but they cracked open a Dr. Pepper for me here, and I was taking that with a cigar, and that's good. Also have various coffees.
Sweet one.
It's the sweet one. But they've got great coffee selection here, great teas, shakes, smoothies, all kinds of good stuff. But I am interested to know what cigar this is and if I've had it before. Because
what's your rating?
I don't
first?
think I've had it before. I would definitely give this in the 4.5 range.
Okay, so 4.5 out of 5 leaves.
Mm-hmm. There it goes. Look at me.
Brian from the Herfcast.
Dominus over here.
Yeah, he finally didn't tap his ash. So tell us, what is this cigar and why did you choose it?
Well, you would have had it before if you would have came to Ristafari back in May.
Oh, we got that weed cigar.
I remember.
Yeah. No, it was
I put a little cocaine in it for
Yeah.
you, Big Hussein. So
That's
what
why
my
I with PCP.
It's Angel.
he's like
Dust Hole.
Smokey from Friday. He's like, something a little wrong.
no, actually, this brand JSK is coming out with
Johnson Crawl.
with a THC cigar.
Nice.
But anyway, this is the Kralat Solomon, the event only smoke.
Kralat?
Yeah, KRALOT.
Kralat.
Um,
And that's why
I feel like I'm
this looked
smoking
familiar
too.
to me, because this construction looks similar to some of their other offerings,
but
their other blends.
that's I broke into my last bundle of them to have you do the blind review on it.
This is a really good cigar, man.
They're smoking fucking amazing right now.
How long were they in the humidor for?
Since March.
Oh wow.
That's a nice little bit of time to
That's
rest.
the pandemic. That's the
I wish-
It was like right on the cusp. Like that event, like that was pretty much the running. Like, all right, everybody's got 2 weeks to check back in and see if we're all. There's, I think at the height of the event, there was probably 120 people there at once, but for the most part, it was right around like a steady like 50, 60 people.
Mhm.
But
So now my next question is, did you bring me some more to take home with me?
I've got 8 of these left.
Oh my
Now.
God. What'd you say your address was?
You'll make it out there one of these days.
Oh, he's bribing you out, Philip. And you're from
I like how
Indiana,
you talking.
Northwest Indiana, right?
Talking that talk.
I'm in Griffith.
Got some
So,
popsicles down in the
Oh, okay.
basement.
Got some
I'm from
down in the
Crete.
cellar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Come on down to the Humidor, people.
When I was a little kid, I lived in Crete, which is, I believe, very close to there, right?
Shout out to the homie John Sublet from Crete.
Yeah, Crete's not too far. My wife is from that area, so.
Okay.
But no, if you ever make it over to the Black Flannel Studio, not the cellar. You know, I could lure him down to the cellar, but
Like the Gimp in Pulp
Hey,
Fiction.
you got these
Yeah.
somewhere. You might be able to lure them.
Na, 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 na.
If you want to come on down to the studio with me, maybe I got one of them in my pocket.
Why don't you reach in there and fish it out for yourself?
no, I wanted to get like
Is that a Churchill? You're having a
honest
seat.
really good
feedback, and, you know.
Thank you, man. This is a really good cigar. I'm honored to be smoking a cigar of this caliber.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, there we go. And now here I have a cigar. I'll ask for student number one. Student number one here.
Oh, stop it. Get
so
your own student number.
Seeing as we are sitting next to you, what are the odds that we're going to catch a quote contact high from? Because you're not supposed to inhale cigar smoke, but obviously we're in a small room here.
We got good ventilation. We just need the noise would mess with the recording.
Wait, did that train just crash?
No, it stopped and
Yeah.
then it goes, and then once it goes, it comes a little bit.
So I guess what they did is they decided to stop the train, and now they're going to reverse it because they want to fuck with this. This is the world's
You gotta
fucking with
put
us.
your-
anybody
down, flip
anybody
it in
from
reverse.
Chicago that drives west towards 87th and
That's the
Pulaski
worst.
knows the train track crossing that I'm talking about, where the trains routinely do that.
The coal trains
They
always
will
too.
freaking
Yeah.
be going, and it's like an hour-long train anyway. Then you see it slowing down, and you're like,
If this thing turns, you're like, if this thing's, and it does it in the one in West Chicago too. You're like, if this thing stops and goes back the other way,
you might as well just turn around.
yeah,
You might as well
and it
turn
will
around.
do it inevitably every fucking time.
Just west of
Only when you're
Luther
late.
South High School.
Yeah.
Just west of Luther South High School by the cemetery on 87th Street. The train track. If you get caught by that train, just turn your car off and sit on the hood, because you're gonna be sitting there a while. And 1 out of 3 times, the train will slow down to a crawl, then stop, then go backwards. And you just wish you had a snack.
Well, I'm from St. Louis. We don't have these problems.
I fucking hate St. Louis. I
With that
hate
shirt
that
on, I'm
city.
sure you do.
I hate that city with a passion.
Yeah.
Just,
Home
I
sweet
don't know why.
Because the
I
Cardinals.
I know why I hate
No,
St.
no,
Louis.
it doesn't even stem.
That's why I
from
hate them.
that.
Fuck St. Louis.
Like, there's just
And
no-
fuck all of our listeners in St. Louis, too.
there's
I'm the
just-
only one.
There's just nothing that fucking like grabs you down there. Like you
That's
got,
just
you got
the town.
Except the pickpockets.
Yeah, you got the
Ain't
arch,
no
which is the most
pickpockets.
pointless fucking.
Well, that's 'cause
landmark
you moved
there ever
out.
is.
This guy.
He moved
Now,
out.
I have a problem with St. Louis for 2 reasons.
Here we go.
Okay.
I did have one phenomenal night in St. Louis.
You welcome.
I will say
Pre or
that.
post
You're
wife.
welcome.
Oh no, it concert. So
Yeah,
But-
you're welcome.
St.
that
Louis,
venue got torn down, so it's
St. Louis can kiss my hairy ass crack because I went down there to visit my aunt and my uncle who lived down there at the time. My uncle is in medicine, and he was working at a hospital down there.
Herbals.
No, but
Pharmacist?
went down there and got hungry at like 9:30 p.m.
Okay.
and wanted to get something to eat. The whole town, like it rolled up the damn streets. Everything was closed.
Day of the
Everything.
week was it?
It was like the middle of the week, like a Thursday.
Where ain't staying open for you?
no.
You
That was the thing. Like when they call last call,
They're
they
going
call
home.
they call last call. No bullshit.
No, they're leaving.
Like
They're going home to drink.
because we went to a concert. After the concert, we're at this like group pub place. We're on the second floor, and like I got my card at the bar, with the tab, and they call last call, and like we see all these police officers lining the block.
Damn.
They called last call. They all came into the separate bars and whatnot
To
to
disperse?
usher everybody out. And
Wow.
they're like, "Oh, you got to leave." I was
Did you
like,
get your card?
I got to get my card. Hurry up and get the fuck out." It's like, well,
Wow.
that's last call in St. Louis. All right.
Now, the
Yeah.
second reason I hate St. Louis is because they introduced me to Wrap Snacks potato chips.
You're welcome. These are great things that have been
Like,
bestowed
the-
upon
the-
You're
your
welcome.
The Master P
Feeble
Wrap
life.
Master P Wrap Snacks potato chips.
Little Roman.
And I had never heard of it. I took a picture
I don't know what
and
that is now.
sent the picture home. I was like, do y'all this is how ghetto St. Louis
Lil
is. They
Wayne-
got
Lil Wayne.
Wrap Snacks potato
What
chips.
you mean?
With
They're
Master P
already
on the front.
popping, so why don't we make some money off these chips? People love snacks. People love rap. What's the problem? Rap snacks.
The one thing I will say about St. Louis in my couple trips down there is because I've been down there a few times for Cubs games.
Cardinals games.
The
The
no,
Cubs are
I don't
playing.
go just to watch the Cubs.
You're in our state.
But you can go back anytime. Send him back. Send him back.
You over here
No.
propagating eating
We need him for
portillos like
production.
you part
Oh,
of
yeah.
it.
We need to-
Sucking down our deep dish pizza like
But the-
this. You from here
Hey,
now?
I am from here. I'll always be
No.
from here. But I will say this: the Hooters in St. Louis had the hottest women I've ever seen at a Hooters in my life.
It's the
You haven't been to the
Riverwalk.
Hooters in Panama City.
It's
No,
the
we
Riverwalk.
went to knockoff Hooters. We went to Show Me's.
I don't know what
yeah.
that is.
Missouri's a Show Me state,
Mm.
and it was Hooters, but they stapled dollar bills on the ceiling and shit when you tipped the waitress.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
See, out here they've got Twin Peaks now, and it's like Hooters is the place where you don't expect to see, like, the girls are way better looking at Twin Peaks and like what's the other, Tilted Kilt? Is that still close?
Tilted
So-
Kilt got an ugly shift too. Though.
Well, I'm waiting for them. But I'm waiting for the lawsuit for both of those places because the misogynist in me wants to love it, but the
guy with daughters.
the guy with daughters, right, wants to hate it.
No, go
So
ahead,
I'm
Proud Boy.
totally-
Tell them how you
I'm
really
totally
So you're
torn.
saying I should really live up to not having a daughter thing for the next month and a half?
I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
your perspective is going to shift
Yeah.
about a lot of things. You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
So the reason why you guys all found heartache when you went to St. Louis is because y'all went to St. Louis looking for something. We don't give a damn.
I was just looking for a store to be
we
open
don't
past
give a
9:30.
damn about no damn visitors.
It's like being in
Come
Wheaton.
on in.
Like in
during
Chicago,
business
in
hours, and
Chicago,
come hang out.
at
Other
3
than that,
a.m. in
you're not-
Chicago, you can find a grease shack open and get you some wings.
Look, ain't nobody staying open for y'all. That means
My-
somebody
my
at work.
hatred, my hatred for St. Louis came from I used to work for a reptile company delivering to pet stores. And I would have to go to St. Louis and go to like 14 different pet stores around the city. And I just the traffic sucks, the layout of the city sucks.
It does.
It's just fucking horrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, it all stemmed from when I was 18. My parents moved down to Missouri, and one of our pit stops was the Arch.
Yeah.
And
Never been up in the art.
Missouri, though, is a
it's
beautiful.
so fucking pointless.
It is a beautiful state, though. I will say, Missouri. Driving
for the
through
racism.
Missouri,
Once you get past St.
it's
Louis,
what's that?
Except for the racism.
Yeah,
Look,
Missouri is one of the worst states there is.
It's
anywhere
still
that
segregated.
anywhere that you have beautiful
Chicago is.
landscape, you're always going to have racism that comes with it because the landscape's untapped. So therefore, you're going to have more rural people living there, which means you're going to have a higher propensity for racism. But the problem is
That city
that,
racism pretty bad.
like the most beautiful city that I've ever seen is Salt Lake. Like
I haven't been to Utah.
driving through Salt Lake City when we drove back from Chicago back in July with my wife and kids was just astonishing. It was so beautiful.
Saw that Mormon money.
But again, a lot of, sorry to say Mormon friends, but there's a lot of bigotry out there. So,
well, not since 1976 or whatever.
no,
But they
racism
said, hey,
completely
blacks
stopped.
should be Mormons too. They're not a scourge.
Racism, as we all
You're not
know,
white and delightsome, but I'll
it came to an abrupt end in 1967. And after that,
Yeah.
any complaints of racism after 1967 don't matter anymore. So let's get to.
We've had a black president, for Christ's sake.
We'll-
Give it up already.
We'll get to the debate here in a sec,
Get over it.
but I do want to ask one question.
7.
So first of all, I just want to say thank you to Mikey for stepping in TJ's shoes because, after 3 years, two and a half or so of which with TJ, even though he's probably only here for technically a year and a half in total time.
But he's here in spirit with us.
Yeah.
We love
So we're going to try to get him on. Technically, next week is closer to the 3 year because our first show was the 27th of October of 2017. But I'm not going to be on next week's show because I've decided to go to the zoo with my family.
So
So you're gonna,
everybody tune in.
yeah. So everybody tune in.
Hold on. Chaz says Utah is what you get when you order Colorado from Wish.
That's a Colorado guy right there, though. Talking shit. So I love it. Thank you, Chaz.
Now, Colorado, I've been to Denver and it's
He
beautiful
said
in
it's the
Colorado.
Walmart equate version.
Jesus Christ.
So
By the way,
we'll
did you
get
see
to the.
what Risty Buck had to say.
We have a comment. Go ahead and read it, Brian.
No, just boom.
Oh,
that
boom.
was for the
For the
Risty is the owner of JSK.
Oh,
Risty-
he's tuned in.
Risty, you're
Okay,
putting on
perfect.
you're putting out some very, very good cigars, man.
Okay, so thank you for the cigar. Also, just real quick before, please do subscribe, guys. If it's the first time you're watching, subscribe to the podcast. I'm looking at that camera.
Yes.
Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Helps us out a lot. If you're watching on Periscope or Facebook, you can find it on YouTube / so youtube.com/voice from the underground podcast. It's from, not of, from the underground.
Voices
Podcast.
of the-
No, not voices. See, you'll confuse them.
Don't do that,
Even
man.
Delvin has known. Delvin
Voices.
listens to the show and he still puts voices of the under. It's not voices of. God damn it.
Voices underneath the ground.
Yes. So now everyone's fucking confused.
Tunnels in the underground.
They're like Joe. They're like Joe Biden is
El
probably right now.
Chapo of the underground.
So
What about
do subscribe to the show. YouTube.com / voice from the underground podcast.
you know that's a generational thing to say /
Okay. I was going to thank you. Now you can just literally go fuck yourself. Okay. He's like, okay, boomer. I'm not a boomer. You
I'm
Fuck.
just saying that's a generational thing. Like
Everybody
no one
knows that.
no one my age says forward, so we just say slash.
So
So if
let,
you mean backslash, you say
Wait.
back.
Hey, Risty, my address is...
I don't think you can do that. No, we all have to remember we have to escalate our voices here. But I do want to ask Big Hussein one question though. So first of all, again, thanks to Mikey for stepping in TJ's shoes. It's meant a lot to us to have you on for the last few months as we hit the third, as we're going into year 4. Thank you to all of the other podcasts that we've networked with. Just real quick before we get to watching the debate and everything and looking at the second half of this shit show, what has this 3 years meant? Like, tell us about this ride in, a minute or two.
Hey, well, I just thought we'd be talking shit amongst ourselves, really. I mean,
We kinda do.
And largely we still are. It's been great. Personally, for me, it's been great to see the development and arc of one Dutch from.
Okay, you lied on me though. Okay,
I did. And
You
you know
lied on
something? You know something, America? You know something? He's gonna ride this. He's gonna ride me calling Brian Denny the first time he was on the show. Anything that I see, now here we go. But anything, he just keeps a freaking. I'm gonna write that down. Anyway,
Hard to let it go.
it's been great to see his development. I've developed some. I've adopted some of his thought processes, and it was great learning from TJ and being around someone who is so in touch with the Lord, and that helped me to actually do a little bit more. I'm not religious, but helped me get in more contact with my spiritual side, seeing him and his development as well. So because I'm almost 100% certain he wasn't officially saved.
No, he wasn't. When we first started,
Yes, he wasn't officially.
like
he hadn't
4
turned his
months
life
in.
over to Christ yet.
Yeah, 4 months in.
And
He said his last swear word on the podcast.
yes,
About
yes,
4
and he
months in.
Forever recorded.
yes, and he stopped swearing. I took over the swearing portion for him.
That's
So
fucking
I've
crazy.
become more spiritual, but I still swear a whole lot. But so these guys have helped me. Hopefully, I've helped them a little bit, and it's been great watching the growth of this podcast from literally just 3 people to 7 people.
Yeah.
We've over the last 3
Hey,
years.
that's 130% growth.
Mhm.
And 2 of them are now.
So if I was Trump right now, I'd be like, this is the
There's
greatest
2 less
economy of
viewers
all
tonight
time.
because we're
We went from 3 to 7. Damn it.
Yeah, well, these 2 people who were once Patreon supporters, now they're here, so no one's listening. But thank you to Brian. Thank you to Mikey for that. So let's, Mikey, what have you been watching here on the debates? What's been
nothing.
catching your eye?
I've been watching absolutely nothing.
Okay,
I've
so
been talking.
let's talk a little bit about what's going on here.
Right now, it looks like Donald Trump's about to get muted.
There. Do we want to listen to a little bit?
We can throw the sound on. I mean, if I got the C-SPAN going.
Yeah,
so
we're on
we-
C-SPAN YouTube.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
And they should. And honestly,
Not
the
one of
bots-
those damn liberal arms of the media.
And honestly, the bots are probably not watching anymore. They usually watch the first half an hour of content. So we're probably good. Worst come to worst, we'll just have to drop the episode.
Well, we can also cut it in half and stop it right here. But anyway, let's see what we've got going on here.
I'm just trying
Or we can just read from the. We're watching it behind you guys here. So
Yeah.
All of you
Turn it
over
up.
there.
because it'll be counter with the, what's it called anyway, so that'll mess them up even more. So
Yeah.
just unmute the TV.
unmute the television. Yeah. So
The closed caption and the screen is going on there for them, and then we're gonna.
right. So we're gonna turn the volume on here, but
Got the clicker, Dutch?
the feed is about a minute different from the television. So let's watch together for a minute.
Okay, let's move on to American families and the economy. One of the issues that's most
You know I have hearing damage, right?
Yeah. Oh, you want it higher?
Yeah.
Today there was a key vote in
Hey,
addition
Ms.
to Court
Welcome.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett and healthcare at the center of her confirmation fight. Over 20 million
Turn up
Americans
the other
get
one,
their
too.
health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. It's headed to the Supreme Court, and your administration, Mr. President, is advocating for
No,
the
that's
If
NBC.
the Supreme
You
Court
gotta
does
mute that.
overturn that law, those 20 million Americans lose their health insurance almost overnight. So what we're judging is
Look at that ass.
Ooh, you got a big ass.
Ooh, you got a fat ass. We could keep it in the family.
Legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst
I terminated
part of Obamacare, as we
Is
call
that
it.
muted them out
The
there, though?
individual mandate, we
No,
have to pay a
no.
fortune for the privilege of not having to pay
You
for
said
their
those channels
health
were
insurance.
connected. I didn't know if it was.
I
No, just
terminated it. It's
No, but
done.
it would have turned up their volume then too.
Because Obamacare
Right.
is
But
no
they-
good. But then I made a decision,
let us
run it as well as you can to my people, great people. Run it as well as you can. I could have gone the other route and made everybody very unhappy. They ran it.
Well,
Premiums
good,
down,
you have.
premiums down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do
Correct.
is
You don't know what you're
terminate
doing.
it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer is Obamacare because without the individual
It's
mandate,
Trump care.
it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay. What I would like to do is a much better healthcare, much better, will always protect people with pre-existing.
Show me the
So
plan.
I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with
Can I
a
see
brand
it?
new, beautiful healthcare. The Democrats will do it because there'll be tremendous pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time. And I think we're going to
Who
win the
is
House.
we?
Okay, you'll see.
You're not part of
that. But come up with a better healthcare, always protect.
You've been saying for 4 years that you're coming up with a better plan.
It's always 2 weeks away.
People out there that
Free
have
beer
great
tomorrow.
private healthcare, far more than we're talking about with Obamacare. Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are people that love their health care, people that have been successful, middle-income people, been successful. They have 180 million.
You see, he hasn't answered the question yet.
180 million people, families, under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine. He won't even have a choice.
Which is
They want
better.
to terminate 180
Yeah, give me that.
lives.
I'll
We've
take that.
done an incredible job on healthcare, and we're going to do even better.
Okay?
Oh, they muted him out.
This is for you, your healthcare plan.
Because too, look.
Building on Obamacare.
He's
my
so
question is,
pissed.
when is the plan? If
Didn't
the
get to his
law
point.
is unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, you have 2 minutes to interrupt.
What I'm gonna do is pass Obamacare.
Trump will come over and like, take his mic. I'm not done.
It's an option that
You
says
can't
that
move that fast.
if you in fact.
We
do
gotta
not
top
have
the last one
wherewithal
somehow.
It has seemed to have worked though. I mean, even just watching from in the peripherals,
Yeah.
this is not like the first debate.
Medicaid, you automatically enroll, providing competition for insurance companies. That's what's going to happen. Secondly, we're going to make sure we reduce the premiums and reduce drug prices.
Well, you should have done that the first time, Joe.
Competition
No, I'll talk
that
over
exists
Joe.
now by allowing Medicare.
He's
to
actually saying what he
negotiate
plans to do.
drug prices with.
They screwed. Let's admit they screwed that part up the first time because a lot of people's premiums have gone up. This is-
Medicare Part
this
D
is true.
was Medicare Part D was a shit show too when it first came out. They didn't scrap it.
I'm not in favor of scrap.
I'm
Well,
just
I am
saying.
for the Bernie Sanders plan, but not for nothing.
Would lose their insurance under my plan, nor did they under Obamacare. They did not lose their insurance.
They got placed in a
Unless they
different
chose.
insurance.
They wanted to go to something else. Lastly, we're going to make sure we're in a situation that we actually protect pre-existing. There's no way he can protect pre-existing conditions. None. Zero. You can't do it in the ether. He's been talking about this for a long time.
Yep.
He's never come up with a plan. I guess we're going to get the pre-existing condition plan at the same time we get the infrastructure plan.
Whoa, whoa, bam! Shots fired.
The fact, I still have a few more minutes. I know you're getting anxious. The fact is that he's already cost the American people because of his terrible handling of the COVID virus and economic spillover. 10 million people have lost their private insurance. And he wants to take away 22 million more people who have it under Obamacare and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions. And all the people from COVID are going to have pre-existing conditions. What are they going to do?
I have a follow-up for you, Vice President Biden. It relates to something that President Trump said. He's accusing you of wanting socialized medicine. What do you say to people who have
Can they hear
concerns
that
that
on
your
there?
health
I'm
care
hearing
plan,
all that
which
this
includes a government insurance option, takes the country one step closer to a healthcare system run entirely by the government? What's your
Well, I wanna hear this.
Ridiculous. It's like saying that, we're, the idea that the fact that there's a public option that people can choose, that makes it a socialist plan. Look, the difference between the president, I think healthcare is not a privilege, it's a
What
right.
about it?
Everyone should
He
have
is just
affordable healthcare.
itching to go.
And I am very proud of my
So
plan. It's
bad.
gotten endorsed by
Shaking
all
around.
major
He wants to say
trade
something
unions,
so
as well
bad.
as a whole range
Look at his
of
eyes.
people who in fact are concerned in the medical field. This is something that's going to save people's lives, and this is going to give some people an opportunity to have health care for their children. How many of you home are worried and rolling around in bed tonight wondering what in God's name you're going to do if you get
Pause.
sick?
Biden.
Because you've lost your home insurance.
How many of you are rolling around smelling your wife's hair and wondering?
If you're rolling around in the bed, but we ain't worried about healthcare.
President Trump,
He was
Your
there
response.
for 47 years. years. He didn't do it. He was now there as vice president for 8 years, and it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized
literally
medicine.
did it.
And it's not that he
So what are you
wants it
talking about?
as vice president. I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more.
Oh,
Bernie Sanders
God.
wants it. The Democrats want it. You're going to have social.
All right, let's talk about this for a quick second here, because the let's talk about healthcare for a second. Well, since this is what they're talking about. Brian, you're the guest. What do you want to see from healthcare? I mean, who's speaking more to you?
Neither one of them.
Okay, why?
Just I don't believe either one of them. I mean, you've got Trump, who says he's got a plan that he's going to enact during his first term. And then you know, like you said, Biden, 47 years, 8 years as vice president. Yeah, they did get the ACA through with problems, but nobody's done anything about those problems yet. So,
but I think this is another thing. The ACA, as it was originally written, was stripped before it even got passed the first time.
yeah,
And then you had an intractable House and Senate that wouldn't let you do anything. And like I was telling Dutch earlier, Medicare Part D was horrible at first, but they didn't scrap it. They fixed it, and now it's an indispensable part of healthcare. So I think that what we're witnessing here is Joe Biden talking about the same things that they did with Medicare Part D. You tweak it. You say, okay, this part that didn't work. Oh, we messed up here, so let's fix that. And then it becomes what it needs to be for people.
but in order to tweak things, both sides have to work together.
That is the problem.
And neither side is willing to go across the aisle, no matter what. It doesn't matter what the issue is.
Now, do you think that if there is a change in administration, that there will be a slight return eventually toward bipartisanship as a mechanism for getting things done, or do you think it's going to get worse?
I don't think it's going to get better after this election.
You think it's going to be down the road?
Maybe after that, because right now it's just too tense with either one of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of these guys, both sides are, I'm not going to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what side you're talking about. They're talking about the opposite.
Now,
I'm not going to work across the aisle.
Now, do you think that if Mango Mussolini gets reelected, do you think that what we're doing by him being reelected is pushing that further, that process of getting back to bipartisanship further away, or do you think that it'll still get back there in the same time frame as if Biden got elected?
I really don't know.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, it seems no Republican wants to work with Biden, and no Democrat wants to work with Trump. So I think no matter who gets elected, you're going to have the same pushback.
Now, follow-up question. Because, and this is allegedly, lots of GOP politicians sensing that the Lotus Defiler is going to lose are kind of moving away from him. Do you think that they're creating distance between themselves and him leading up to this election will lead to a softening of their view of working across the aisle?
It's possible. I mean, it's not.
I like possibilities. I like a possible. I lived in maybes in college.
You playing spades? I got 30. I got 3 in a possible.
Got 3 in a possible, man.
So
we've been bored.
Well, let's I want to hear Mikey's on this, but I want to actually show you guys something if I can on the camera here. Okay. Hopefully it's probably going to spin on me. All right. So this is an actual real medical bill that I just received.
Hold on.
I don't know if you guys can see this. All right. Here, he's going to knock the orientation lock off here. I'll get it up this way. So this is an actual real.
Meanwhile,
real
Right, just
medical
Enjoy
bill that I
a
just got.
video live
Okay?
stream of
What it says
Justice
essentially
Chiscadillo.
is because my daughter went to the ER a couple weeks ago during a show. We have an HMO with Kaiser. My wife and I just got today an ambulatory bill from Hall Ambulance in Bakersfield for $2,700.
Jesus Christ.
Which I just showed you, 26 and some change. That now, I've been out of work for a few months due to COVID. My wife is working; she makes decent money, but insurance will probably cover about half of that for us. There are far too many families in this country who just do not have the ability to pay not only for the emergency room, not only for the intake afterwards, not only for the follow-up appointments, but then for the ambulance as well. This is absurd. Mikey.
Well, it sounds like everyone seems a little disappointed with the system as it stands, which is why I say burn it to the fuck.
Okay, next topic. No,
Antifa.
No. Fuck Antifa and their fucking, I'm going to skate around like a fucking revolution. Shut up. If the healthcare system isn't working and our first immediate reaction, even a physician would say, if someone's bleeding out, first you have to find the bleed and stop the bleed. We can't argue over what is the best way to find the bleed. Just fucking find it. Find it and stop it. But everyone who wants to, well, what is a bleed and how do you know it's actually blood? I hear some people naturally just have blood pouring out of their arm. No, this is all bullshittery over the fact that they don't want Big Pharma to not be Big Pharma.
Right.
Without Big Pharma,
They both have the
being
same
Big
donors.
Pharma, well, there you go. Money
Yep.
talks. And
Right.
and it's funny because like during the Vince show earlier, one of my buddies said he was an essential worker. He's like, or maybe it was more like expendable. That's exactly what we are in this healthcare system. We are just a means to an end for a corporation. A corporation is not a person. It is a model. And the model is only set up to win and to eat things and to grow larger after.
Which is why we always get back to, and especially when it comes to politics, we get back to the removal of corporate
take the
funding
money out of politics.
from politics.
Yep. I
And
totally
It has
agree.
to happen
And if
for the politicians to get back to actually representing their constituency.
And if healthcare is going to be a political issue and money can sway politicians, we're fucked.
Yeah, because
there is never going to be a right answer. There's never going to be a candidate that gets this right.
and that's why
As
people
long
who
as
think we
people
like
can make money off of people being sick,
Yeah.
they're going to continue to do so unless we make it illegal and unless we have universal healthcare, single payer system. When that is the case and they have to fight with the government, all of them have to fight with the government, that changes the equation. That finds the bleed. But if we're just going to keep fucking around and like, well, you can keep your plan, you can keep your plan. Well, now the premiums are all fucked up, and now that's how everyone got put on that mandate, and then they got all pissed off because they had to pay $1,000.
I will say
But
this,
the
though.
less people in the system, the more it costs for each individual.
Premiums still rose after the institution of the ACA. But as with everything, there is nuance. The rate of rise of premiums did slow once the ACA was instituted. So, is it perfect? No. But a gusher maybe got down to an ooze.
So let's go. We'll pause on this for a sec. They're talking about the minimum wage right now, so there's really no reason to really listen to these two talk about this. I'm not sure Biden actually supports a $15 minimum wage. I'm not even sure that I do. To be honest with you.
What?
Well, because not every business can afford to pay their people $15 an hour. And not every employee, frankly, is worth $15 an hour.
Who are you to say that someone's not worth $15 an hour?
I was not worth $15 an hour when I was 15 working at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, you are.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you are.
No, I was not.
You've been conditioned to believe
So
that.
now,
Exactly.
now there.
Now,
You also have
CEO
additional.
Tell me what a CEO of a company does to earn $1 million a year.
I'm not talking about corporations. I'm talking about small to mid-sized businesses.
Of a person, any person. There's small businesses where the take home for the boss is $250,
Okay.
and he can't afford $15 for his people. Bullshit.
Okay, but that's not every business. You have other businesses that want to be able to hire someone and desperately need to be able to bring someone in. A lot of these small, like air conditioning companies or plumbing companies, they're basically a one-man show, and they are desperate to be able to bring someone in to do the administrative work for them, but cannot afford to pay their mortgage on their home if they have to pay someone $15 an hour. And then if they
is that a question of living beyond your means?
Then you need to go work for somebody else then.
But so now you're going to tell people they don't have the right to own their own business and do what they want to do. Of course you're not going to.
Then no, you don't have a right to own employees and pay them whatever you feel like they're worth.
But a person doesn't have to take that job. So they can work elsewhere.
Oh, well, tell that to somebody trying to feed a family.
But then take a different job.
Then why can't
if you could just take whatever job you want?
But also,
why is the unemployment rate so high?
The unemployment rate is not necessarily correlated to the minimum wage.
I didn't say that, but I'm speaking specifically to the point that you said take another job. Like there's just jobs laying around that you can just go pick up.
Of course there's not. That's why I'm not working.
Okay, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
And also, let's not pretend that $15 an hour is a lot of money.
No, it's not.
Right?
So why would you want even less?
Because all right,
come on, man. $15 an hour doesn't get you shit nowadays. It's 2020.
Does a high school kid who's 16 years old, living with his parents, need to make the same amount when they start on day one as someone who's 30 and doing the exact same job? I say, fuck no.
You're asking the wrong question.
Okay, what is the right question?
Because and that's why you keep getting the wrong answer. So if someone has been in a job for 15 years and then they have gotten incremental raises to get to $15 an hour, then they should be compensated past whatever their rate is over minimum wage.
Exactly. That's precisely the issue.
Why haven't we even increased? Goes up, then you should incrementally.
So that's the thing. So you're telling me that if our podcast had someone working here, let's say that we hired two people, right? We have two employees and we're paying them both. Let's even say we're paying them $15 an hour, and they've been here for 2 years, and they work here at their own will. And they realize that we're paying them what we can pay them. And then we decide that we're going to hire someone else because we have some extra work that needs to be done. And we hire a kid who's, say, 17 years old to come in and do some social media work for us. And we talk to the kid and we say, hey, we're going to pay you $11 an hour, which, by the way, is minimum wage in quite a few states, which is, I worked for $4.25, and I thought the $100 check I got at Dominic's was a fucking shit ton of money when I was a kid.
Of course.
But nonetheless. So we hire this kid and we put him in at $12 an hour. Now they pass a $15 an hour minimum wage. He was making $11 an hour before that. So now he's making the precisely same amount of money as the other two employees that I've had that have been there for 2 years.
That's a bad question.
So now I have two problems. One, I have the problem that maybe I can't afford to pay this other kid $15 an hour. So I'm either going to cut hours for everyone else or lay them off, which, by the way, is my prerogative to do so as a business owner. Number two, that affects their ability to get insurance because we're stupid enough in this country not to have a single payer healthcare plan. So I have to not only pay his wage, but I have to pay him the same amount as the other guys, and that takes away from the benefits that I can pay those guys. Thirdly, now I have to give in order to be fair to those other two guys who were 5 minutes ago were making $4 an hour more than the other employee. Now I'm expected to not only give that one employee a $4 raise, but to give those other two guys another $4 raise each. So now I'm paying $16 an hour more. Stop spending my money.
Yes.
Stop spending my money.
What do you mean stop spending your money?
Minimum wage is up to the company.
No, wait.
It's up to the specific company, especially when it comes to a non-traded company. We're not talking about Amazon here. We're talking about you can have different regulations for that.
It is the principle that is the same for both. If you can't afford to have employees, then you can't afford them. But they need to be able to live. They shouldn't have to just work.
So you'd rather them not have a job at all?
I would rather them go to somebody who can actually afford them.
But that job doesn't exist. There's only so many jobs to go out there. You have 4.9% unemployment right now.
Sounds like your business is the problem, not the employee.
Why is my business the problem? I'm trying to grow my business.
Because your business is
and then if I grow my business and these employees grow with me, maybe they'll be partners one day.
Your business does not currently make enough to sustain employees. You have to treat people fairly. People are.
So then I should shut down my business and join the job market. Now we have 4 people looking for a job.
No, Dutch. Here's the thing. If $15 became the minimum wage, it's not just you.
But why stop there? Why not go to 30?
Dutch, listen. $15 is the minimum wage. You give these other people a raise. You're not the only business doing that. So you're putting more money into people's pockets. People who buy your products' pockets. So if you have to raise prices, they can sustain that because $15 is the minimum wage standard. These people that are buying your products, they have more money in their pockets to buy your products. So when they say, oh, well, I got to charge an extra $2 for my widget, the people that have all been buoyed can afford to pay the extra $2. So if that money comes back, because if it's
are you guys familiar with something called propensity to save? It's an economic construct.
Sure,
Okay.
People save, but people spend on what they need, and if they need your widget, they're going to pay for it.
But people save more money based on the amount of money that they make. The more money that people make, it is shown, proven fact, economically speaking. You can take a basic economics class and find this out.
Yeah,
that the
I know what you're
propensity
talking
to save
about.
goes down as income goes up. It doesn't go up as income goes up. So it stays relatively stagnant, and then people will spend as they make more money until they get to a certain plateau.
Yeah.
After certain plateaus, like $90,000 a year, then it changes. But when you're going between like $20,000 a year to like $50,000 a year, the propensity to spend is higher as you get higher income.
Right. So they're gonna buy your widget
because they're poor.
They're spent. They're
poor.
So the propensity to spend goes up. That means that they're going to spend more.
But that doesn't mean they're going to spend it. They're going to put it back into my business.
How if they need your widget and you sell the widget, aren't they going to buy it?
You're assuming that every single business has a commodity that's necessary.
That sounds like the business.
But that's a subjective thing right there. What's necessary?
Well, I would say it's relative, but yeah, I mean, it's you can't make a decision for a small business owner to delegate to them.
But there's lots of studies out there that show in states where the minimum wage went to $15 that the economy actually boosted in those states.
I don't believe that there's a study that's shown that. I'd have to see it because I've studied this and I've never seen where you can correlate a $15 an hour minimum wage
I've had this
to an economic growth.
I will send you links. And we'll put them in the show notes.
You're going to prove economic growth over a sustained period after a $15. First of all, where is there a $15 an hour minimum wage?
It's
not in California. It's only 12.
That's $3 different. You're talking about.
But what we're saying is this: like, oh god damn it, what state was it? The study I looked at. I'll find it. I'll send it to you. And then they'll give you a list of
and even the team of economists that work with Andrew Yang for his plan. Because everyone was saying that, there's going to be this rampant inflation if you give everybody this universal basic income, blah, blah, blah. It's not true.
Universal basic income is a different thing.
No, but I'm saying that even with that influx of cash into poor people's hands, it's not going to just lead to rampant inflation where everything now costs $1,000 more than what it normally costs.
But you realize that most people who don't have, that are making $20,000 to $30,000 to $40,000 a year, that the amount of money that they owe is generally higher than the amount of money that they actually spend. So what you're doing really is you're giving them the ability to pay off what they owe, which is great, but that does not necessarily help any small businesses. It's going to help the banks, the lenders, and the credit card companies. Brian, I've been seeing you itching to get in. Were you trying to say something?
Okay, so Connecticut, California, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey.
$15 an hour minimum wage.
Listen to me. California, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, and DC as the first wave of states requiring a $15 minimum wage to be in place by 2025 or earlier. So everybody is incrementally going to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in states where they instituted it, economy.
It's not instituted anywhere yet. The minimum wage.
They've already been bumping us up.
The minimum wage is not $15 anywhere right now. It's nowhere in the country.
It will be there in a few short years.
And what you're going to see as wages go up for low-level unskilled workers is that those workers get less hours. I don't think this will happen. I promise you. Okay. So if you're going to make $12 an hour and work 28 hours a week, you're going to get $15 an hour. They're going to cut you down to 18. It is what it is because you say that as a small business-minded person. But you got to think about, not everybody works for a small business. Most people. My concern is small businesses.
Well, then if that's your,
I'm not worried about Walmart. Walmart can pay $20 an hour minimum wage. I don't give a fuck about Walmart because they have the profit to do it.
So it's fine to pay people less if your business is smaller. Is that what you're saying?
A small business owner should have the right to pay people what they can afford to pay them. If the person doesn't want to work,
every state should be
if the person doesn't want to work there, they don't have to take the job.
So why can't I hire Haas as my personal trainer and only pay him $5 an hour?
If he's willing to take it, then that's on him. It's better than zero.
So then what's the problem with me having, like, there are certain inalienable rights and people being taken advantage of should be stopped by the greater society. Like, it's not ethical to give somebody less than what they're worth.
Okay, but what are they worth? Why are we picking this arbitrary number of 15?
15 is
why not stop it at 50?
Okay, so since you want to take the hyperbole route as opposed to the logical route,
I can pick any number. You can say
$15 an hour still will barely get you a studio apartment. We need
I understand
a living
that.
wage.
But people who are
to live on.
People who are in their look, I believe that we should treat people who have perhaps a college education or have a certain amount of time in the workforce. I'm not one of these guys who says everybody needs to go to college. I think people who shouldn't go to college and get buried in debt, and they maybe have made a wrong choice going to college. We underpay our tradespeople big time in this country, and we undervalue tradespeople big time in this country. And tradespeople make way more than $15, $18
why
an hour.
Why should I have to pay them more? Why should they get? They should.
I'm saying society undervalues
as my business. It's my business. I should be able to charge.
But we're not talking about from a monetary perspective. We're talking about from a social respect. They look at people who have a college degree and they say this person is obviously trying to do something with their life. And then they look at someone who might be an air conditioning technician or a machinist or something like, or a warehouse worker, and they say, well, that person is not as important to society.
I don't think that's true at all.
You don't think that's true?
There's people with
why
degrees.
Does every parent
with degrees
encourage their kids to go to
conditioning?
Because they have been trained.
They have been trained to say.
Right, so we agree on that.
Middle
that's
school,
how the educational system is built.
Yes.
Middle school gets you ready for high
system
school. High school gets you ready for college.
It's not built to make you all around smart. It's built
to make it work.
To make you want to go to college.
Yep.
And
do you believe every person should have to go to college?
No, not at all.
No.
I don't think anybody said
that. Some people want trade school. Now I'm looking at a study put out by the Economic Policy Institute. Gradually raising the minimum wage to $15 would be good for workers, good for the economy, good for businesses. Testimony before the U.S. House of Representatives. This is from February 2019. Okay? And it's talking about, and I'm not going to go into the minutiae, but it's basically speaking to how raising wages, that is the true trickle down, is trickle up economics.
Right.
Okay.
In theory, yes, it is.
Okay. Because people get money. Oh, you know what? I needed that fucking widget. I could never afford it. Now I can afford that widget. I'm going to get it. Alice,
what the
we're
fuck
going
are
to
you
get the
talking
widget.
About widgets for?
The widget in your business that you sell.
It's the placeholder item or service.
But you're assuming.
But just like
this study assumes that they're working the precise amount of hours that they're working.
It's not an assumption-based study.
It is an assumption-based study because it assumes that the hours worked before are the same as after.
I'm going to link you to it.
Please do.
I think you want this to fail because you want your point to be right. And I think we're just.
Why would I want it to fail?
Because
I'm telling you that I believe
you're taking such a fatalistic view about it.
Yeah, you have.
But you want it to succeed.
No, I'm looking at. I'm looking
How
at.
How often do we disagree here on this podcast? Not all that much.
Yes, but I am looking. I'm not saying I want this to succeed. I'm looking at the information, and the information is saying, based on these studies, this is a good thing.
And I do not think there is nothing in me that says it's acceptable to pay someone less,
right?
Just because.
See, now Mikey is going from a more emotional point.
Just because your business
going
can't
from.
Support it.
I'm gonna stop this for a second because we're talking about Black Lives Matter. So let's we'll pick that back up.
Glimpse of Black Lives Matter. I thought it was a terrible thing.
Won't be your last.
Wait, no, he's saying that the first glimpse of him seeing Black Lives Matter was saying fry those pigs. But that was.
I am.
Let's hear what he has to say. Put him back up on the screen.
I'm the least voiceless person in this room. What do you think of a person who says that?
If you have to say it.
If you gotta say it.
Everybody who says I'm not racist.
Colleges and universities, I don't know what to say. They can say anything.
You know, I'm really rich.
They can say anything.
And I have very big hands.
Yes.
Because I am.
As big as
I am
Joe,
the
Joe,
least
Joe Burrow.
Racist person. I can't even see the audience because it's
I don't
so
see
dark.
color.
But I don't care who's in the audience.
I can't see the audience because it's so dark. Smile, will you?
Let me ask you very quickly, and then I have a follow-up question.
Who says I'm not racist and says something totally bigoted?
Modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire. Every single one.
The racist
Started
fire
off
too.
his campaign
Racist.
coming down
Yeah.
this,
Fucking
Racism is a
If he
problem.
wanted to say fucking racist, he said racist.
He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys. Last time we
Poor
were
boys.
Oh man, the Fox News is gonna go crazy on that one.
Why are you talking bad about sandwiches, Joe?
Joey B from Po Boys Podcast just got a shout out.
He's gonna be tweeting. Thanks for the shout out, Joe.
You said Abraham Lincoln.
Where did that? No. You said not since Abraham Lincoln
No.
has anybody done what I've done for the black people.
What has he done?
I said,
What have
Nobody
you
can
done?
tell me.
Abraham Lincoln. I said not.
They say,
since
oh,
Abraham
he
Lincoln
gave money
has
to
anybody
historically
done
black
what
colleges
I've
and
done for the
universities.
No, he didn't. We did. That's our fucking money. Don't try to.
And the thing is, the Obama administration did the same thing.
Yep.
And Joe Biden has a plan to actually like double the amount.
But Trump did give more to HBCUs, but still, I mean, how is that more?
Trump didn't give anything. Obama didn't give anything. The American people did. That's our fucking money.
Just take a look
You
at
can't
what's
fool me.
happening out there.
Vice President Biden, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime bills that you supported in the
So again,
80s and
listener,
90s
the audio
contributed to
you're hearing is
incarceration
slightly
of
ahead
tens
of the
thousands of young black men who had small
what you're
amounts of
reading.
drugs in their possession.
Any
Their
comments?
Sons, their brothers, their fathers, their uncles,
Nope.
whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences.
Yep.
So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
One of the things is that in the 80s, we passed
An 8.
100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change the sense, and particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why
Right.
I'm arguing that, in fact, we should not
Cocaine's
send
hell of a
anyone
drug.
Yeah.
to jail for a pure
Sorry, no
drug
soundboard.
offense. They should be going into treatment across the board. That's what we should be spending money. That's why I set up drug courts, which were never funded by our Republican friends. They should not be going to jail for a drug or an alcohol problem. They should be going into treatment.
Just like they do for the
That's what we're
opioid
trying
crisis
to
now.
do. That's what I'm going to get done. Because I think
This country treating
people
drug
have
addiction
now
as
seen
a crime
in fact, it was a
rather than a
mistake
medical
to
condition
pass those laws
is the
to
biggest
drug, but they were
problem
not
facing this
crime.
country today.
They treated it like that until
It's all
Sally
talk,
Sue
no action with these
in
politicians.
Park Ridge
Why
got it.
didn't he get it? That's what I'm going to do. when I
Till the
become
opioids.
president. You were
Look how he's standing.
along with Obama.
He's in the freaking Smooth Criminal video.
For 8 years. Why didn't you get it done?
He said, "When I become president." He's already president.
You're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action.
Trump just said, "When I become president, I'll do it."
They got 38,000 prisoners left.
You got nothing done.
38,000 prisoners were released from federal prison. We had
Fact check
there were
that.
over 1,000 people who were given clemency.
Since you're fact-checking everything today.
That's right.
Yeah, with your unfactual facts.
Oh,
Fake news.
Oh, economic policy.
You are fake news.
They're fake.
I could go
They're
on.
a liberal tool.
We began
Yeah.
the process. We lost an election. That's why I'm running to win back that election and change his terrible policy.
I just asked one question. Why didn't you do it in the 8 years, a short time ago? Why didn't you? do
Okay,
it?
I'm so sick of that argument.
Yes.
Because homeboy is like 7,000 years old. Bitch, you could have ran for president at 50.
Here's the thing. We had people in Congress that said, we're going to say no to everything. Even stuff that we supported, we're going to now oppose because this dude is in office.
Which is why they're trying to Elvis Presley the ACA now. That's what happens when you steal something from black people.
Yeah.
It's called Elvis Presley.
Elvis Freshly.
Like I did with criminal justice reform. I had talked Democrats into it.
Gentlemen,
The criminal justice reform has done nothing that he put in. There have been no effects from criminal justice reform that was instituted by.
President Trump, you say
But-
Pew
But-
Research Center says yes.
Hurt jobs
For what?
in the energy sector.
The
Vice
38,000.
President Biden, you have said
That's true?
this in
Yeah.
addressing
Alright.
climate change as an opportunity to create new
That
jobs.
sounded like
For
a
each of you,
Biden
how would you both
inflated
combat
number.
climate change and
Well-
support job growth at the same time, starting with you, President Trump?
It could have been
You have 2
3,800, and he said 38 million.
We have the Trillion Trees program. We have so many different programs. I do.
We need to
love
rake the
environment.
forests.
What I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions, which is a big standard that I know.
That's because of COVID.
All the time.
All right, it's
Not-
because
no, I
of
haven't heard Joe
COVID.
use the term.
Less cars were on the road for 3 months.
But I have heard Obama use it. And
Shipping
we
was
have
down for
the
3
best
months.
Carbon emission.
That is why
numbers
you've
we've
seen
had
the evidence right there.
Under this administration, we are working.
He's
so
taking
well with
credit
industry, but here's what we
For
do.
the
Speak
Speak into the
economic,
camera.
How
for the-
filthy it is.
for the
Look at Russia.
ecological
Look at India. It's filthy.
increases
The
that we
air
had
is
As
filthy.
far as it being a poor
The
man's
Paris
club.
in clean air. I'm trying to listen and talk at the same time during COVID.
Trillions of dollars, and we were treated very unfairly. When they put us in there, they did us a great disservice.
What's the over/under on
Take away
unfairly?
business.
Trump saying
I would
unfairly.
not sacrifice
We're having whiskey right now
tens
to
of
do a
millions
shot.
of jobs, thousands
Yeah,
and
no
thousands
alcohol.
of
Get a
dollars
shot of-
because
Get a shot of
the Paris Accord. It was
get a
so
shot of
unfair. China
cherry
doesn't
Pepsi.
kick in until 2030. Russia goes back to a low standard, and we kicked in right away. It would have destroyed our businesses. So, you
Who
ready?
fucking
We have
cares?
done an incredible job environmentally. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the best carbon emission standards that we've seen in many, many years.
You're right,
Vice President
because of
Biden
COVID,
Destroyed our
not because of you.
Vice President Biden, 2 minutes to you, uninterrupted.
Climate change, climate warming, global warming is an existential threat to humanity. We have a moral obligation to deal with it. And we're told by all the leading scientists in the world, we don't have much time. We're going to pass the point of no return within the next 8 to 10 years. 4 more years of this man eliminating all the regulations that were put in by us to clean up the climate, to limit the limit of emissions will put us in a position where we're going to be in real trouble. Here's where we have a great opportunity. I was able to get both all the environmental organizations as well as labor, people worried about jobs, to support my climate plan. Because what it does,
Well, you can tell he really struggles, you know?
He hasn't stuttered.
Yeah, I know that, but he really,
for example, 500,000
he's overcoming. I give him a lot of credit, but he does struggle.
on our highways. So that
I wonder
we
how
can
people
own the
perceive
electric
that.
car market in the future. In the meantime, China.
I don't
the
think
thing
a lot of-
is, I'd rather
I don't
you
think a lot of
stutter-
people
I'd rather
know.
you stutter and be a
See to it
freaking
that we're going to take
effective
4
person
billion, 60
than
billion,
speak
billion,
smoothly.
and 2
Right,
million
but we know that
and retrofit them
that
so
in
they don't
presidential
take as much
debates,
energy, saving
people pay a lot of
hundreds
attention to
barrels of
idiotic
oil
things like,
in the process,
where's the light shining on you? What went viral at the vice presidential debate? The goddamn fly.
That shit was hilarious.
You know what I mean? Like, people were saying it wasn't fair because I was watching a conservative show, and they were saying, exactly, and they were saying, somebody get the fly off of him. This isn't fair. The American people are going to think that he didn't wash his hair. You know, it's like, okay.
18.6 million jobs, 7 million more than his. This is from Wall Street. And I'll create $1 trillion more in economic growth than his proposal.
That's actually
Not on
very
climate,
true.
Just on the economy.
President Trump, you're right.
They came out and said very strongly, $6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan. That his plan is an economic disaster. If
Who's
you look
they?
at what he
Yeah.
wants to do, you know, if you look
Me.
at his-
Who's they, America?
his environmental plan,
He always says they and them and many people.
AOC plus
Who is he talking about?
They know nothing about the climate. I mean, she's got a
What
good
the
line of
hell
stuff, but she knows nothing about the climate.
Don't you talk about my girl.
Jumping through hoops for AOC.
You better get your boy up there. You better not say her name
The
again.
real plan costs $100 trillion.
All right.
If we had the best year in the history of our country for 100 years, we would not even come close to a number like that. When he says buildings, they want to take buildings down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This
What the fuck is he talking about?
that anybody has ever seen. And this wasn't done by smart people. This wasn't done by anybody. Frankly, I don't even know how it can be good politically. They want to spend.
You graduated from
$100
college during
trillion.
segregation.
That's the real
Shut
number.
up.
He's trying to say
When's the last time you read a book?
It's $100 trillion. They want to knock down buildings and build new buildings with little, tiny, small windows, and many other things.
Okay.
And many
What
other
is this
things.
thing with windows?
It is.
And we're running out of time, and we have a lot.
Window gate.
It's got a window fetish.
Vice President, I have a number more questions.
I don't know where he's.
So, are you afraid of the new small windows, Brian?
You won't even see it coming.
Fear of windows. They're going to come in here. They're going to make that window 1/3 of the size it is now.
After they knock the building down.
Because they
Yeah.
know
They'll leave the window up.
future lives must be able to
Why are
breathe.
we doing
And
this?
they know they're good jobs in getting us there.
That's the
And by the
trouble.
way, the fastest growing industry in America is the electric, solar energy and wind. He thinks wind causes cancer. Wind does. It's the fastest growing job. And they
Forgot
pay
he said
good
that.
prevailing wages, $45-50 an hour. We can grow and we can be cleaner if we go the route I'm proposing.
President
Excuse
Trump,
me.
please
We are
respond, and then I have
We
some
are
follow-up.
energy
Mute his mic.
independent for the first time.
How do you
We
figure?
don't need all of these countries that we had to fight war over because we needed their energy. We are energy independent. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely
You got
expensive.
coming on
It's
his face.
extremely
Solar
expensive.
works. It's very intermittent. Got a lot of problems, and they happen to make the windows in
You gotta
both
hook me up
Germany
on
and
your little
China.
boutique.
And the fumes coming up,
Gotta
if
be my
you're a
plug.
believer in carbon emission, the
Which he's
fumes
not.
coming up to make these massive windows is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas.
He's looking like, what is he talking about?
I mean,
It's all over
solar,
the place.
I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. It's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful
Right.
factories that we need to compete.
That's the most
with
idiotic thing that I've ever heard.
It's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll
You just say
do?
pause.
We're gonna have the greatest economy in
I
the
think he
world.
said false, but I want to say.
So he wants to-
I'll say it was false.
Let's talk about climate for a second. Can you,
And what about fracking?
What about? Oh, there we go. Fracking. Good thing Kamala's not there.
Kamala.
Kamala.
You said it on tape.
I did show the tape, put it on your website,
Put it on.
put it on the website.
Well, he did. Okay, well, he did say that, but he's also backed that off a little bit. I don't know why he keeps doing that. But so Biden did actually say that he was going to stop fracking. I think what he was talking about was within 2 decades. And then since then, he and Kamala both reversed their stance on that.
But why though?
So
Because-
let's talk about energy for a minute. Who wants to go first?
listen to Brian. I mean,
Yeah, tell
Let's
us
go
your
first.
tell us your thoughts there.
On energy?
Yeah,
Like about what? Like,
what is your thoughts on like fossil fuel? Do you think that we should be ramping up gas or looking at
No,
other technologies?
I think better technology is the future, I guess. As far as solar and wind, I mean, you do need a lot of space to make it worthwhile. Like, I mean, we got wind farms just south of us, and I mean that's massive amounts of area. And when you're talking like a giant solar farm, because you need a lot of area for that. And yeah, we got deserts that we could throw up miles of solar panels, but with that, you also destroy that
the
ecosystem,
ecosystem.
that is there.
Right.
Any plant life, any animal life that's there gets affected, and it is something that you need to find a better way first.
Right. I mean, a lot of companies that have huge buildings and that are environmentally conscious, what they do is they utilize their roof space.
I think this is the busiest train track in the history
We're
of
in the market
mankind.
for it.
Yeah,
But that's like,
but no, but you're
the docks are right down there.
you're exactly right. In California, they do something that I don't know why they don't. Maybe they do it here. I haven't seen it, but they, like, for example, in all the high schools,
Yeah.
right? They've decided to make the high schools dependent on solar technology. Now, the way solar works in California is a little bit weird, because what you do, like, we have solar on our house, and what actually happens is we get the solar, we send it to PG&E,
And then they send it back.
and then they send it back.
Ain't that a bitch?
So it's like, so if the power goes out, I still don't have power because our internal
Right.
is coming.
I think it's a little different here.
That's a PG&E issue, and PG&E's gone bankrupt 5 times. But and sorry again about the train, but fuck it. So but what they've done at a lot of these high schools is they've built in the parking lots solar arrays that act as sort of like parking covers. Except they're not 100% rain proof and they're slightly tilted towards the southern sky.
Right.
To absorb the amount of rain,
So,
the amount of sun that's coming at them.
Joe.
And and let me smell you.
Stop.
But they've been done doing this, and I think it's been pretty great because not only does it save the space instead of destroying more ecological areas, but it also provides fucking shade for you to park your car in. So when you get in your car at the end of the day,
You're not
it
sticking
ain't
to
hot than a motherfucker, causing you to bust that air conditioning and put more CO2 into the atmosphere. Right. So I think that's pretty ingenious. I don't know, do they do that here at all?
Not that I know of.
They don't do that with the high schools. I just know that I've seen more and more, especially you getting downtown more and stuff. Like my aunt lives up in a tower in Navy Pier, and you get to look down on a lot of businesses. There's a lot of solar panels.
Yeah.
So, and I think they use that specifically to power their building. And I know that residentially speaking, the solar that you absorb is just used to run your home. And that's being more and more prevalent around Lockport and Crest Hill and other.
Yeah, our issue I think is a California thing that and again, it's not because of California, the socialists. It's because PG&E worked out some deal with the solar companies to do it this way. I don't know the exacts of it, but
all of those are the right answer. And then because we can't come at this as what is the replacement? Is wind the replacement? Is solar the? No, we do all of it.
Yes.
And we also need to start bolstering our nuclear program because nuclear power, I did a 5-hour almost like TED talk with Landon Kurt Knoll, who's an astrophysicist.
We're still waiting for him here.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to get him. All right.
I'll see what I can do. He yelled at me. I don't know now.
Right.
He explained nuclear bombs, and there was a talk about nuclear bombs. And the segments about how you enrich uranium and all of that good stuff. Which I forgot.
My vape juice. I need some vape juice.
Oh.
Forgot.
So after listening to him break all this stuff down, so in the first hour and a half, I was just like, well, why don't we do this everywhere? He's like, people don't want it. People don't want it near them. They think it's going to blow up. I'm like, but it doesn't.
Think what's going to blow up?
Nuclear.
Oh. I was like, but you just, unless you have enough fissionable material that gets to a critical point, it can't go critical mass. It's not enough to do this. Like, I know. I'm like, well, then why won't they do it? It's like, we don't know.
Well, people haven't done the research. They hear nuclear and they assume.
Well, people are afraid to live by Fermilab because they think that we used to make a joke that because we lived right by Fermilab that we're in the blast radius. It turns out,
no,
you're not. It's not. It doesn't even work that way, right?
Right. So, and people haven't done the research and educated themselves.
Right. They don't literally just have a building with a nuclear bomb in it just going off. It's totally.
It's a different process.
Yeah. As opposed to using coal to heat up water, you can use nuclear decay.
Oh, but we should use beautiful, clean coal. It's beautiful and it's clean.
And the coal is white.
So instead of 1,400,
Santa loves coal. Who doesn't love Santa?
So instead of 14 truckloads or 14 train cars full of material, a month or for a year, it's one for a long time. It doesn't take all of this extra infrastructure assistance to be self-sufficient. It doesn't take a lot to run. We have smart people that know how to run it, but no one wants to do the homework to figure out that it's not this huge, scary nuclear monster. Like I'm pretty sure there was one in Manuka or Shanahan, it's sitting right out there. Nothing's blowing up.
Well, you saw how people reacted with the Hadron Collider, like when what was it, Sweden?
Yeah.
Where there was literally people hiding in their basements the day before they started it. Because what they do there is they create dark matter, right?
That is not
or
true.
Antimatter, I'm sorry.
That's
not dark
also
matter.
Not true.
And the people were, now, what were you saying about her dress here? Hold on a second. Put the stream back on because we want to get a a load of Jill Biden's dress and her matching mask.
Yes.
Come on.
She killing them. Y'all hating.
It's hot out there in the streets.
You guys will see it here in a second. So Melania is actually holding Trump's hand with her
And
mask on.
Her mask does match her dress as
Yes.
well.
But
And
Jill
her-
does have on the Better Homes and Gardens memorial dress and mask combination. You can find it on HSN for 3 easy payments of $35.98 on the HSN.
Here she
credit.
comes. Here she comes. Here she goes.
I'm really glad that the closed captioning actually captioned cameras clicking,
Mhm.
as if anybody needed to know.
Well,
I
you
was
never
wondering what all
know.
those lightning bugs were doing in there.
So good job. Those Joe Biden's outfit will be my grandmother's doilies next week.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's the debate for you.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it now.
Well,
Damn it.
yeah. Well, we'll
Listen this morning.
let's what's the score of the football game? How did I wonder how that's going. But so let's talk about
Miss
just-
Welcome.
let's just talk about what we saw here. So obviously we only paid halfway attention to this, but what do you guys think? Actually, Brian, I'm concerned about, or curious your answer.
No, you're probably
What
right.
is your-
Concern
yeah.
is probably the correct term.
What is it that you think is going to happen after the election? Should either person win? I mean, are you of the mind that there's going to be a lot of unrest afterwards, especially if it goes one way? And if so, which way do you think will be worse? There's going to be protests either way, I think. But
Yeah, either way, it's going to be a shit show. I'm not sure if it'd be worse on either side, but I don't know. And the Giants are up 14-10 in the third.
Are you serious?
the Eagles are like
They gonna fire that dude.
The Eagles will probably win, but the Eagles cannot score until like the fourth quarter. It's astonishing. I know you don't care.
Nope.
But-
All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
In regards to the
What-
debates.
What's your what? I want to hear what you say about my question though about the after the election. So what do you think?
He says it's gonna be a shit show either way.
Oh, so
No,
you?
he's
No,
asking
you.
you.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
What do I think? It'll be a shit show either way.
Yeah, okay.
I would say this. Personally, I feel like if Herr Graf Wagenstein loses, that it will be a little bit worse. But there's going to be backlash either way it goes, and it's saddening to me to say that and to feel that. But that's definitely what is going to happen. There's going to be some backlash. I think if Trump wins again, there will be the backlash from the left will be protests and wringing of hands and gnashing of teeth and things like that. If Trump loses, the backlash from the right would be a little bit more physical.
Your thoughts? Armed occupation of the city halls.
No, I'm leaving. Like I'm slowly but surely trying to convince my family I'm leaving. I don't want to be here anymore.
Where are you going?
Anywhere but here.
Where
Are you talking about
Are you
this
talking about-
cigar bar or?
Are you talking about Illinois? Are you talking
The United States. I'd
Yeah.
like to leave. I'm
What's your top 3 destinations?
UK, Sweden, and Australia.
Australia
All
got
three.
the big ass spiders, man.
All three with Universal.
Now I have another question. Especially, I've had a lot of debates with people about third party voting.
Mhm.
Okay, and they keep bringing up the name Joe Jorgensen. I don't know who that is. I've not heard one thing from this person. I just recently found out. I thought it was Joe, a guy, Jorgensen, but it's Joe, a lady, Jordan. Just found that out because people kept saying Joe Jorgensen, Joe Jorgensen. I'm like, who is Joe Jorgensen?
libertarian candidate?
Yes, I found that out, but I haven't heard her speak one time. I haven't seen one ad, but there's a lot of people out there who are talking about voting for this person as a third-party candidate. They don't like Biden. They hate Trump. What are your thoughts on third-party voting? It's a 2-part question.
Who are you talking to?
Us.
Us,
Okay.
the collective.
All right.
What are your thoughts
am bored.
on third-party voting, especially in a situation like this, and the propensity for people to want to try to legitimize a third party in the highest election of the land instead of going the route of
Starting local,
through the states
Yeah,
and
that's-
going that way.
I think there is more and more third party happening on the local levels. As far as presidential, it has to happen sometime. And you hear a lot of people say this is not the time to vote third party.
Right. I feel that.
So when is the right time to vote third party?
When we don't have a racist wannabe dictator in office right now.
No, when the third party actually has a chance.
Okay,
Like when they're up on that US stage as well.
The third party is never going to have a chance unless they start somewhere.
And they start in the state and local.
Once they have to cross the 5% threshold before they can go anywhere
Exactly.
Unless we get, as soon as we get money out of politics, as soon as we stop the bleed,
Yeah.
now third party candidates are a lot more viable of an option when everybody's on the same
If half
political
of the
funding.
people that said and believed I would vote third party, but they don't have a chance. If half of those people actually voted third party, we'd have a third party president right now.
No, they'd still be at 6 to 10%.
I
And that's not going to win an
I don't
election.
think so.
No, what he's saying is that everybody who wishes there was a third party, which I think is probably 30-40% of this nation at the minimum, if half of them did it, then they would be at the 20% threshold. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying further than that because every election is too important.
Mhm.
Every election in my voting lifetime has been too important to vote third party.
Except
Now-
for Ross Perot, maybe. But
Yeah,
And
but
here's the thing.
Ross Perot, I wasn't able to vote yet.
yeah, well, Ross Perot and Nader were really the only two third party candidates of my lifetime that actually were close to even being in a conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
if you recall, Nader was it who had the Admiral, was it Admiral Stockdale or something like that at the debate? Remember, he said at the vice presidential debate, he said, "Who am I and why am I here?" And everyone laughed. And it was so I'm largely certain that was his, unless I'm remembering wrong. But but I'm a third party guy. I believe that we need 5 or 6 parties in this country, similar to like what they have in the UK.
Yeah, they really get things done over there. That's the best way to run their system. Nothing happens.
It's
Absolutely nothing.
I don't think
They
so
fight
that
in
that's
Parliament.
I don't think though that is
Yeah, look at Brexit.
a condition of. Well, yeah, but most people don't want Brexit,
Yeah,
and you
how
still
do-
have conservative parties, and you still have liberal parties.
I don't think that the third party solves the problems that we have. So whether it's the left, the right, the middle,
It's still operating under the same system.
the problems need to get fixed.
Yeah.
The third party, pull a Bernie, even though you're an independent, run with Democrats. If you care about it changing, then it doesn't matter what letter is behind your name, because your platform should be something that is substantial and something that actually improves the life of each American, not something that is different than the Republicans and different than the. It's like, no, does it fix it? If it fixes it, then I'm with it, and I got you, and I'm 100% behind you. I was a big Yang guy, I was a big Bernie guy. Like, if you have a plan to actually fix something, and not just I'm doing better than the last person's fuck up, but fix. No more bullshit. Just fix.
If you had the perfect candidate
Kanye.
in mind, if you had the perfect candidate in mind, but they were running Green Party, any other party, and you had 2 shit shows with an R and a D, who are you going to vote for?
Well, that's what we had in 2016.
Yes.
And that's why I voted third party in 2016, because I said, look,
Also, it's your fault.
it was my fault.
Son
But
of a bitch.
but I looked at first of all, let's not pretend that votes matter for the most part. And the votes that matter right now are the people, and where all the focus should be is in Pennsylvania, Florida, Wisconsin, Michigan, and possibly
Arizona.
3 or 4 other states.
And then the White House.
Who I vote for in California is really who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
You
that's
know,
how
so
in Indiana.
Indiana too.
The only
right?
time Indiana went blue was in 2008.
Yeah, and the only time that California went red was under Reagan too, the '84.
Schwarzenegger.
So, well, but that was for a gubernatorial race. They elected Reagan. Reagan won California. Reagan won basically every state except Minnesota.
Yeah.
So when I looked at the 2016 election, I looked at it and I said, literally, we've got Emperor Palpatine versus the Borg Queen, and and I looked at this as, if this is a job interview, which of these four people, and I'm including Jill Stein in this, am I going to vote for? Well, Jill Stein is nutty as a Fruit Loop, handcuffing herself to trees and getting arrested on purpose with I believe is not even an actual doctorate. But and Gary Johnson, who was a terribly flawed candidate, I think he was set up by MSNBC with the whole Aleppo thing, because when they first said it, and I'm pretty engaged in foreign policy, I knew there was a Syria issue, but I don't know the capital of probably like 8 states. I damn sure didn't know Aleppo was necessarily what they were talking about. At first, I thought they were talking about an acronym for some government program. That was where my brain went in the first place. I was like, hey, what's ALPO? The train is here again. But I looked at it as a job interview and said, okay, maybe the best thing to do would be to go back and get more candidates. But with the candidates that I had, here comes.
That's a freight train.
Got one good one in there.
Yeah. Of the. And now it's gonna. I told you the trains here were bad.
No,
But
it's
the only negative.
Don't get up to close the window is the loudest one.
Yeah, it's the only. This is the only negative to podcasting. We're gonna have to try to talk to the government and see if they can shut down the trains next time.
Yeah.
But it was Haas's fault, by the way, for not realizing that issue was an issue. So blame him. But Johnson was the most qualified of those 4 candidates. I don't think that anybody will come back and say that I'm crazy for saying that. You might say Hillary was better, but
was it an effective vote? Because you also have to remember that.
Well, I thought that they would get them over the 5%.
As much as an ideologue as I tend to be, and as much as a dreamer as I tend to be, I still know how to play chess and checkers. I still know the difference between, yes, this is exactly what I always want in a candidate, but if I see that he has no chance, and I see that me not voting for this person to block something worse.
They'll never have a chance if everybody has that
But I
line
think
of sight.
And let's not forget.
So
I don't mean to step,
hold your
but
party accountable.
you're
That you're supposed to be backing or whatever. That's what, like, there's nothing wrong with voting third-party candidates, but there's also nothing wrong with tearing the fuck up some Democrats and Republicans for not holding to things that are supposed to be happening already. You're not fixing shit. Why am I keeping you here? You're not gonna fix it. Cool. Hey, bring that competitor in.
exactly.
Bring that competitor in.
But the vote. But when you
And
ask,
that's when that third-party guy comes in. So there's nothing. It doesn't matter if they're third party or if they're a Democrat or a Republican. If they have the ideas, by all means, unseat the people who are already fucking things up. But if you run third party, you look contrarian. You look like you're trying to grab attention. You look like you don't actually want to help the problem. If that's just my perception, then I'm wrong on that, and I'll apologize. But it appears that people want to run third party because, like, all they talk about is Democrats and Republicans. Shut up. I don't care that you're running third party. Fix it.
here's
I
my
don't care if
issue.
you got neck tattoos,
Right.
gender fluid, whatever. You're gonna fix some shit. Bring your ass on in here and get the fixing.
Here's my thing. In 2016, because in 2016,
We're gonna do it like Star Trek.
here was the issue for me. No, I did not like Hillary.
stabilizers, Mr.
I
Scott.
hated Trump. And my fear was in that election, and just like in this one, the election of Trump would legitimize a lot of racial thinking, racial ideologies, racial groups. And I hope to God that I was wrong, but I was right. Okay, we got the Proud Boys tweeting. We got the incidents of hate crimes rising after he was elected. racist rhetoric went through the roof because people were emboldened and they felt validated by his election because of the way he spoke and acted and his history even before being elected. So for me, in that position, where if it had been Rubio or Cruz or somebody versus Hillary, I would have probably voted third party because I did not get that. No matter how racist they might be, who knows? But I knew this dude was going to embolden and make people who had these backwards ideologies feel validated because you could see it in their support of his inflammatory statements. So for me, that's why I say this is not the election because we don't need 4 more years of that.
Yeah, and I am not. I voted for Gary Johnson last time. There's no way. Like, I agree. This is not the election to do it because I admit I thought Hillary was going to win the last election, and I didn't want to be somebody who said, "Yeah, I voted for Hillary," because I fucking despise her, right? But even knowing what I know now, and again, living in California, I can't say I would have done anything differently because, again, it wasn't going to make a difference. But I believed at the time that my vote would have meant something in the regard that I thought the Libertarian Party, not that I even think that every issue they're on is good. I do like a lot of what they talk about, but is that I thought that it was very realistic that a lot of people were like-minded like me and that they would hit the 5% threshold. So my hope was that the Libertarian Party would have hit like 5.6, 5.8%, and then they would have gotten those funds directed to them, and then maybe we could have started that slow crawl that you're talking about that would take 2 or 3 elections. The problem is that you have a lot of people running for on the far right now and on the far left. You know, Colorado has a girl who, in very AOC fashion, upset an incumbent Republican, like 10-term Republican or 5-term Republican congressperson, because she got famous and went to a Beto rally back almost a year ago and said, "Hell no, you won't take my gun to Beto," and everybody fell in love with her. And she's super good looking, by the way, and she carries like a Lara Croft side holster on her legs. But she's a far right candidate, just like AOC was a far left candidate. And these people are winning, but they're unseating people within those parties. The problem is if you run it as a different party, the parties are never going. The Republican and Democratic Party are not going to allow other parties to come in. If they're going to do whatever they can to shoot it down, because this is why Bernie Sanders had to join the Republican Party from an independent and run
the Democrat Party.
Thank you. To run as a Democrat when he clearly is not a Democrat, right? So in a real sense, Biden should have run in any other year, not this year, because it would have been Trump would have won and then Biden and Bernie would have split the vote. But in general, it would have been great if Bernie, for example, if Hillary had won in 2016, I would have loved to see Bernie Sanders run right now. So, but anyway, so any final comment on politics before we talk about something else, or before we go? All right. Mandalorian. So Mandalorian starts in a couple of days. We were going to watch the YouTube video, but just for you guys, but can't because we're on live stream. So I'll add it here.
The mouse will get us.
Yeah, I'll add it here to the audio, on the audio version. So there you go, is Mandalorian trailer. All right.
Wow, that was incredible.
Yeah, future skip. What did you guys think?
And more importantly, Chewie was having sex with so many people.
Yeah.
What a strange story.
What are you guys most excited for? Sabine Wren, Boba Fett, Baby Yoda? What? Go ahead.
It's not Baby Yoda.
I don't do trailers.
It's the child.
Okay, so what are you most looking forward to, and are you looking forward to The Mandalorian?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just trying to decide if I want to watch it all at once or if I want to watch.
That's the thing with Disney, man.
I was able to. All right. First of all, I avoided all spoilers for The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Mandalorian. I think I could do it again if I want to binge it. But will I? I don't know. I think I'm probably going to stay up to date on it.
Did you watch The Boys?
No, I just started it.
Okay.
Shit.
So you're gonna stream. You're gonna do it that way, where you're gonna stream it all.
Yeah.
binge it all.
Well, I was holding off to start it because I've been like trying to watch a new show with my wife.
Mhm.
And start
Good
doing
luck.
that.
That's gonna take you about 5 years.
Are you rubbing her feet while you watch the show?
We actually started watching Schitt's Creek, and that's
That's a pretty good
Oh, okay.
show. It's a pretty good
So-
show.
But we watched the first episode of The Boys, and she didn't seem too thrilled about it.
First episode of season 1 or 2.
One.
Okay.
So
Yeah, my wife didn't care for it either. She said it was too dark, and she didn't like the
Yeah,
fact
my
that
wife thought it was
good
too
guys
dark.
were bad.
yeah. So I'm probably gonna end up binging that on my own.
That's good binge.
Fairly soon.
Okay,
So,
but for Mandalorian, what is it that you're what you watched season 1?
everything, yeah.
So what are you
Everything.
looking forward to the most?
Everything. Like the
Yeah.
first season was done so well, and like I'm not looking forward to any specific characters. I'm just looking forward to see where the storyline goes.
I'm ready to lay back on the mattress, give it all up, and be just be gentle.
Pause.
Just give it to me. Just give it up, Mandalorian.
You've got the dark saber from
Gustavo Fring.
yeah. You've got what's the
Those
name?
Pollos Hermanos.
What do they call him? What's the name of the character he's playing?
Oh, I never remember.
I forget his name, but
Gus.
so you've got the dark saber with the new villain that was introduced at the end of last year. You love him because he's black.
right.
And
He's Chilean.
Boba Fett. And I know you love
He's
Boba
Afro-Chilean.
Fett. So
Boba Fett's my favorite Star Wars character.
yeah. So what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to, of course, Boba Fett. I'm also looking forward to the expanded character of is that Gina Carano, who's playing?
The drop soldier.
Yes.
Yeah, she's very good.
Yes.
Oh, and then you have Rosario Dawson possibly playing Ashaka. Is that how you say it?
That's my other baby.
Asaka from Clone Wars.
AOC.
Yeah, but so Rosario Dawson with those big. Cory Booker loves those movies.
I actually like the drop soldier better.
Yeah,
I love an athletic woman that can take care of herself and look good doing it.
She looked like she belonged in Gears of War. Like she came in there
Yeah.
ready to fuck some shit. I was like, damn,
was she
who is this?
was she
She's
in
gonna fucking
Fast
get
and the
down.
Furious? Is she the one who was the bad girl? That one?
I don't watch bad movies.
Oh,
I'm a bit of a snob.
yeah, I see that.
He's a movieist.
I like to watch films, not your summer blockbuster classics.
I'm going to be watching The Great Gatsby later this evening. So
Watch some old samurai films.
The Super Ninjas.
I started watching classics that I've never seen that I should have, like Casablanca and
Good movie.
like Dirty Harry and
Have you
know.
seen The Magnificent Seven?
no.
when you watch Casablanca, count
that
the black
next.
people.
You gotta watch the Maltese Falcon too.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Magnificent Seven is by far my favorite movie of all times. It's based on an old samurai tale, The Seven Samurai or whatever. Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen.
Enough said.
What more can you ask for? Just
No,
a great
Yul
movie.
Brenner
You gotta
of
watch The
the
French
King and
Connection,
I
too.
fame,
Et
where
cetera,
he's
et cetera.
he's
Sam,
in
Sam
he's
was
in
the only black
Tam
guy
Face.
in Casablanca, right?
I don't think Sam was black. Was Sam black in Casablanca?
I haven't seen
forget.
Casablanca in
I
20
haven't
years.
seen it in a long
Yeah, the
time.
piano player.
Oh, there you go. See, you had your representation in the piano
Servant.
player.
Yeah, got it.
That Nat King Cole was in the movie for half a second.
Got it.
12 years and extra. Yeah, we know the story.
So then you have the Borat film coming out. Who's in for that?
Pass.
I literally just seen the trailer. Well, I didn't even watch the full trailer. Like I just seen it pop up. There's like a YouTube ad, and I skipped it. But you know, like I'll watch it when I watch it.
Mhm.
You know,
It'll
Did you
be
guys like
funny,
the
but
first one?
it's like
No one liked the first one.
I like the first one. I laughed my ass off.
I hated the first one, but this
Really?
one I think I'm gonna like.
If you're in the mood to laugh mindlessly, Borat is it.
Did you see him on Kimmel?
Uh-uh.
Oh, he was pretty fucking funny on Kimmel. He made Jimmy Kimmel take his pants off, like literally.
Jesus Christ.
Jimmy Kimmel had to hide behind a chair. Anything else pop culture that? What else is going on? There was a comment. Oh, you know what? There was a comment that we had too. I was going to pull this up before.
Okay, so while you do that,
Yeah.
I'm going to very hard right into music.
Yes, sir.
Busta Rhymes Extinction Level Event Part 2.
It's out.
It'll be out on the 30th.
Oh, see, me and Busta Bus go way back.
I love Bus.
He's very underrated. You were talking about him with Delvin.
Yeah, very underrated lyricist. Very underrated.
Busta Rhymes is one of the classic case of knowing your lane and adjusting to the times. Because he had to chill that out, and then it was doom.
Yep. But then he went into the cadence though.
Yeah,
he changed his cadence up.
Do you guys think Ludacris bites off him?
No.
Everybody borrows from people, but I don't think Ludacris bites off him. Ludacris's style is unique to him, to me. Yeah. Ludacris is another one of these very underrated lyricists and rappers of our time. In my
Ludacris is like Nelly.
He's better than Nelly.
What music are you into?
Just about everything. You know, the traditional all-encompassing answer.
What's your favorite album of all time, any genre?
Favorite album of all time?
That's a hard ass question.
Not for me.
Depends on the mood always.
See?
It's a fluid answer, but right now probably Zebrahead, Brain Invaders. Just
a lot of people like Zebrahead.
My son is all in with Zebrahead because that Brain Invaders album came out shortly before I had Dan from Zebrahead, the guitarist, on the show. So I was listening to that a lot. My son got into it, so now he's all about it. But all-time favorite band is probably Aerosmith. It was Aerosmith and AC/DC.
I don't want to close my eyes.
Before that,
you said before they sold out.
But before they quit the drugs.
Before they made Armageddon ballads.
Yeah, but no, a lot of like Less Than Jake, Zebrahead, classic rock, a little bit of classic rap.
And what's classic rap to you?
Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You did right.
Who's the more progressive, or not progressive, but influential to you? We've already answered this question, but the more revolutionary band, like who do you think made more noise? Rage Against the Machine or Public Enemy?
I would say Public Enemy then, like when they were current.
Mm-hmm.
Rage Against the Machine now that they're not current, but somehow popping back up in the news because that's not right. Mm-hmm. We can't have them sing about this.
What machine do you think they were raging against for the last 20 years?
Right, exactly.
But okay, so we had a comment. It was from Neil. I'm saying this right, from Neil C84 on Twitter. Listen to our last episode on the boys, and he said, "I'm surprised," and I'm paraphrasing your comment here, but he said he's surprised that we didn't talk about the element. Now you have to spoiler here, Brian, but to a degree. So blah, 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 like that. When Homelander shot the terrorist in Africa or whatever it was, he killed the other kids.
Yes.
Yeah, that didn't. None of us talked about how that was put into. Like they talked about how we basically forgot about it, and what Neil had brought up was that it was sort of. He was surprised we didn't talk about it because of all of the police killings that have been going on, and like where it was one of those things where Homelander was basically like shot a civilian. Did that person's life matter? Because they started saying better them than us, and all these things with the memes. And he made a very good case. I wasn't able to find the comment right before I did it, so I'm paraphrasing. So I'm sorry if I'm not saying it exactly right. But your thoughts on that? Did you see any analogy to that?
It was on Twitter.
Yeah, on my Twitter.
When I saw that, I saw when he beamed through old boy and got the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
That person was behind something, and it did not strike me as something in that context that he's framing. I saw it as, out of control, Homelander. Of course, there's going to be collateral damage.
Right.
So that's why I didn't register for me in that context, because it wasn't something where it's like the guy was standing out in the open and he beamed this dude, and then he's like, you know what, I'm going to beam that guy too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why it didn't register for me at that. All aboard the Trump train.
From
For
what
me,
from what I understand, didn't he kind of go? He like kind of started like nervously laughing, like ha ha ha. Whoop,
Yeah.
and just flew off.
yeah, and my thing was that for me, it was something that was unintentional. You know, you look at George Floyd, that was intentional. You know, you look at Eric Garner, that's intentional. So it was careless, it was reckless, but it was in the framework of who Homelander is.
Mhm.
So it didn't register to me as something that was more than it needed to be. See,
Any
we don't
thoughts?
always look for racism everywhere.
Any thoughts from you, Mikey, on like, did you draw any correlation there?
You do not believe how many times that people say that.
Yeah, like to all of the, you know, the police, like the justification of him killing someone as being for the better good, et cetera, et cetera.
I don't think he cared. I don't think.
No, we're not talking about Homelander. We're talking about public perception.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Homelander.
No, everyone knows Homelander doesn't give a
Oh,
fuck.
that sounds like how are we confused?
Yeah.
on this?
We're talking about like society after that because it. I think where the comment was going again. I apologize. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. So, but the
I don't see it either.
but it seemed like it was like not mentioned again for like the rest of the show.
Well, I mean, there was also the whole. Sorry, spoilers. There was a whole plane full of people, and that didn't get talked
Yeah.
about either.
Yeah. But that they didn't know about, and
Well, they
nobody
covered
still
it up.
knows about it. Right.
Well, there was a couple of different planes.
But
You know what I mean? Like that. He don't. It didn't bother him, and
Nope.
then
A
as long
means
as
to an
people-
end.
Yeah. And I think America is the perfect example because after 9/11, we were more than happy to watch people get tortured and get killed as long as they were overseas and as long as they were enemies. Humans are nasty.
Enemies.
Yeah, humans are nasty.
As my
Frenemy.
boy Montez says a lot, hashtag people are garbage.
Yeah, hot fucking garbage. So yeah, we all watched Team America and we all chanted and sang the song, but we never for once took a step back and said, this is some xenophobic bullshit. And even though if I think it's funny because I'm scared.
Mhm.
And dealing with that is harder than laughing at the puppets yelling Ahmed, and then just Durka and blowing the. It's easier. It's way more comfortable to just laugh at those things, as opposed to saying I have an irrational fear of terrorists,
Mhm.
and how do I deal with that as a responsible adult? So
Right.
yeah,
Well-
people are garbage.
Well said. All right. So how can the people find the Herfcast, Brian?
Facebook and Instagram. Just look for the Herfcast. TheHerfcast.com.
Spell that for the illiterate. Liberals out there.
HERFCAST. TheHerfcast.com.
And what is a Herfcast again?
What's a herf?
It's a podcast.
No, but it's
You can go to herfcast.com.
A herf is just getting together to smoke cigars. So
Is that the name of it?
Big Herf
Like
saying
a herf?
Herfing.
Perfect.
Big Hussein the Herf. All right, so
Big Herf,
check out the Herfcast. Go ahead, bring us
Take us home.
on our 3-year anniversary.
Take me home.
Oh, by the way, next week, again, I won't be here, but it's gonna be really fun because I won't be here. It'll be a really good show because I won't be on it. Deb Shepard, the psychic, and JC Phillips, radio personality and real life Ghostbuster. As we do a little Halloween theme, and I'm sure they'll talk some politics as well because Deb is very, very politically attached, and JC is very smart politically as well. So you guys will handle that well, I'm sure, and
For sure.
rock and roll. Take us home.
I'm feeling
Big-
sick that week.
Yeah.
No, stop it.
Yeah.
Well, people, it's been another marathon.
I don't think they can hear you.
You have to.
Oh, I have to enunciate and
You gotta
have-
project.
You have to.
Yeah.
Have to use my speech communications degree.
Yeah.
People, it's been a great marathon again today.
Really, really great.
Happy 3rd anniversary to us. A little pre-anniversary. It's our birthday week. So-
what is the 3rd year? Is that like wood or something?
I don't know.
Yeah. I have
Pause.
Oh God.
Pause. So, in closing, we watched the debate tonight. We debated and got pretty involved ourselves in some subjects, and nobody's not friends anymore.
No.
Fuck you guys.
Nobody's slashing tires and things of that nature. And once again, I'm going to harp on this. This is what needs to happen. We need to have these conversations across issues. We need to have these conversations with people that don't think the way we think. Dutch and I disagreed. We still disagree.
Did
And
you
maybe-
clarify the lie you told them about me?
Yes, I clarified the damn lie. See, here
Okay.
he goes again. But
Yeah.
we're not going to talk about
He lied and said I was a Trump supporter.
See?
Yeah,
it. He had to keep going. Got to kick the horse.
that's not true. Okay. I hated
However-
Hillary. That's not a Trump supporter.
However,
That's why you voted for Trump. I got
we
it.
have
I get you.
these discussions,
I understand.
and we need to keep having these discussions. Yes, they're difficult. Yes, there's the possibility of hurt feeling or raised voices, but having discussion is the great bridge builder. Okay, and we have to do it. We need to do it. And if people out there, if you're serious about wanting there to be change, you need to seek out people who don't think like you. Seek out people who don't look like you, and
He's making a positive
have
statement.
conversations with them. Will there be a bridge built every time? No. But you may learn something about yourself, and more importantly, you may learn something about other people that intersects you more than there are things that divide you. So please look for those moments of intersection and build on them.
All right, so tomorrow, catch me as I debate.
Outside.
How
Yeah.
about that?
Catch me outside, motherfucker. Tomorrow, catch me over on the GK Podcast Network, having a political debate.
Look at you.
I'm playing the role of Joe Biden because
You are
they're
same age.
because I'm the same age, and well, they thought there wasn't going to be another debate, so they set this up. Because of course I would be the best guy in the world to speak for Joe Biden. So check that out tomorrow. I think it's going to be 7:30 Central Time streaming. Probably 10 on a tweet or something, and then we'll see you guys. I would imagine in the coming days.
Make sure you guys go to www.patreon.com/VFU
Oh, yeah.
podcast. Pick up all your cool merch. Drop a pledge. Help us get to the next level so that we can bring you even more of this independent media. And for all of us here in the Torch.
The Torch
Cigar
and
Hookah Lounge.
Herf.
Oh,
Herfing at the Torch.
Herfing at the Torch.
Yeah,
There
we
we
over
go.
here herfing.
Oh, and thank you to give him the shout out though, the owner.
Oh, KJ is the owner of the Torch Cigar and Hookah Lounge.
Good guy.
And thanks
Police
to
officer.
Mo as well.
Yeah,
Mo for helping us out.
Police officer, by the way, had a great discussion with him the other day. We had a really good talk. So that was awesome. So thank you to him. Really good guy.
Shout out. So that's it.
Peace.